Good evening, everybody. Just thought I would pop on here this evening and see how everybody's doing. If there's anybody out and about would like to stop in and say hi, here we are. So don't know who is out and about. If you are, AZ, hey, how you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. We're just going to kind of hang here and see what's going on and see if there's anybody else out there that was looking for a place to go and chat. If not, that's okay. We'll just stay on a little while. I just got done doing 3 more ship videos, so I thought, well, I'd check and see, and I saw the other, those guys went off at 6:30, so I thought, well, I'd come on because there's nobody else on that I know of. Hey, Lenny.
Hey,
I'm on.
I got the email.
Okay. It's just you, me, and AZ at this point.
Okay, I'll be over in a little bit.
Okay, honey. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I don't know where Paul Hodges, if he's out and about. He could be up seeing his wife. So. And Dave, he hasn't been feeling well lately. Dave hasn't. So he popped in earlier today, but he wasn't sounding good. He was having a bit of an issue. So we won't bother him. I did send him an invite though. I know right now football's on. Lynn's iPad. There she is. Your camera's on, honey.
Just a minute.
Okay.
Think I got it.
Okay. You know, Lenny, what you can do is, of course, you don't get out, you're on the iPad.
Yep.
When you go down next to the camera and you punch on that, you can choose virtual backgrounds and video filters.
I don't have that,
Yeah, okay.
but that's okay.
Yep, well, AZ Drone said hi.
Hi, AZ. I bet he's enjoying warm weather.
He said this morning, Lynn, that last night he had to turn the heat on in the house. It got down to 45 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know Ed and Sue who are in Flagstaff. They're just north of Flagstaff. They homestead.
Uh-huh.
And Ed has shown that they've had snow a few mornings,
Ah,
but they decided to stay on the homestead all winter instead of going down to Quartzsite.
okay. Okay.
So ordinarily they go down to Quartzsite and Havasu and all them other places, but they decided they wanted to spend a winter on the homestead.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Lynn.
Hey,
Hi, Dave.
Dave. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good.
Good. You sounded better tonight.
I got a bunch of sleep today.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
Dave didn't sleep at all last night.
That's not good.
That is what it is.
Oh, I think we go through that. Everybody does from time to time. I know I do.
Yeah. It's normally the way I sleep is during the day and up at night. It's just the way I'm wired. I can't explain it.
Yeah.
Even if
Lynn,
I don't sleep at night, I won't sleep during the day.
AZ said it was 40, it's 45 last night, but right now it's 70. So,
Oh, I'll take that.
yeah. I think we'd
I
all
would take that. Most definitely. It's a little chilly up here.
Chilly Willy.
But thank God there's no snow.
Yeah.
Very thankful for that. And no rain. And the winds have stopped. So that's a huge plus.
Oh, Laura says it's a bit late for her to join us because it's her bedtime. I understand,
Hi.
Laura.
Hi, Laura.
How you doing? I feel bad because I flew 3 ships this afternoon. So I'm between flying and editing and flying and editing. I missed your show today, but you're on every day at 2:00 Eastern time.
Oh, I missed it.
Yep.
I was asleep.
Yep. I don't think she expects everybody to go all the time. Laura, was Rob there? Is he doing okay, or have you heard?
Lynn,
How you
I'm-
doing? Darwin Digital says, good evening, y'all.
Hi, Darwin.
hi, Darwin. Lynn, I'm drinking one of your favorite
What's that?
iced tea.
Oh,
Sweet.
yeah.
Sweet
I got
tea.
one in my hand right now.
Yep.
I
He
live
got-
on it.
He got sweet tea.
Yep. That's what I have. Need all the sweetness I can get. So did you sleep today too, Dave?
Yeah, I slept today and I got up about, I don't know when I got up, 4, 3, something like that.
Will you be
Hello.
able to? Will you be able to sleep tonight?
No.
That's why, even if I don't sleep at night, I will not. I try hard not to sleep during the day.
I could try, but I don't have much success.
Well, I force myself to stay awake because I don't want to screw up my animals' schedules.
Yeah, I understand that.
Because even if I'm up all night, I will go down to the basement. Otherwise, Anthony's constantly telling me to go to bed. The minute you get up in the middle of the night, that voice in the dark says, go to bed.
You know what she's talking about, don't you, Dave?
Yeah.
She's talking about Anthony. parrot's in the living room, and if anybody stirs or anything in the middle of the night, the parrot yells, "Go to bed, go to bed." The parrot used to be in charge of the grandchildren.
Yep. So I sneak down the hallway and through the kitchen and go downstairs to the family room.
Oh, good, Laura. Glad to hear Rob's having a better day today, Laura says.
Oh, thank God.
Yep. Yep.
Glad to
Well,
hear
if
that.
you talk to him before we do, just tell him we're all thinking about it.
I'm glad he's doing better.
Yep. So, yeah, I went and did 3 ships today.
And the big ship with the yachts left this morning.
Yes, it did. I had that on the screen this morning.
That's what you said.
Yeah. Lynn was wondering why all the super yachts were all docked in the Black River in Port Huron at this time of year. I mean,
We don't have any usually.
Yep, and this time of year, it's not too far away before the Black River freezes over. So
Well, and even when I went past the one day, they were covered with snow
oh, okay,
from that little bit of snow that we got.
right.
And I'm thinking, boy, that's a lot of money to be sitting there with snow on it.
Yep,
When
exactly.
when everybody here locally has already had all their boats pulled. They're winterized and inside. But they're on their way to the Atlantic. And they'll head south to Lauderdale. Then we get to see them come back in the spring.
Yep.
So did anybody else fly today?
No, I did. I never.
Here's the ship we're talking about here, Dave. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, wait till you see what's on the deck.
Naked
And
women.
Paul, the guy that
Can you
owns the
see there?
silver.
Look at all those super yachts. Those are the ultra riches boats.
But they summer here though.
But they transport them on these big bulk carriers, and they send them down to like Fort
They're
Lauderdale.
going to, yeah, Fort Lauderdale. Well, the silver one, the great big silver one that's on the deck,
Right here.
the guy that pilots that, he goes by Captain Jim. He was in the chat on Boat Nerd this morning.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah, he told us that he captains that boat and that it'll be back here in June. He says it's on the schedule to be back in Port Huron in June.
Yeah, that's across the river over there, Dave. That's Sarnia Harbor.
That's in Canada.
Yep.
And the tug's over there pushing it out.
Are those grain elevators back there?
Yes. Yep.
Yep.
And see, that's a big bulk carrier there. That's a federal ship, and it's loading up grain. And they take and ship grain across the ocean. Let's see if I can speed this up a little bit for you. There it is, Dave. It's backing out. See it?
Oh, yeah.
The tug's pushing it out.
Yep.
That's how everybody in this area knew it was gone because they heard it on the marine radio. They called for the tug.
Yep, see, there's the
There's a
tug there.
tug at the end.
Once it gets out in the river, it picks up speed and heads down for the ocean and then down to Florida. There he zooms in a little bit so you can see it.
Beautiful,
BBC.
beautiful ships.
Dave, this is the one Lynn was talking about right there.
Oh, man.
The guy that captains it, his name is Captain Jim. It's not his boat. He just is the captain on it.
Yeah.
He said they'll be back the 22nd of June. Oh, he's
Yep.
coming back just in time for boat week. For the yacht race.
Yep,
Plus,
look
there's
at-
more ships underneath on the deck too. There's like 4 more underneath. The one's name is Victory, the one that's behind the gray one. It's all white. And the letters on it are silver and it says Victory. It's behind this one.
Look at that one there, Dave. Can you imagine the millions of dollars?
No, I
The one
can't.
right there, the white one right there is called Victory.
Yep.
It's called out of my price range.
Oh, mine too. I couldn't even have one to float in the bathtub.
Yeah, we couldn't afford just to put gas in it,
Nope.
but they're probably running diesel. But
I couldn't afford that either. But look at all, it's all tied down.
Yep, there it goes. It's on its way. Yep, there's looking out the lake.
Well, I'd want to get out of the snow too if I could.
Yep,
Instead of putting your taste in words, we're putting it in a story. Introducing
AZ said earlier in the chat that he was in Flagstaff yesterday and he needed a jacket or coat.
Ah. Well, Ed and Sue are originally from Oregon. They've now become spoiled from living in the desert down there.
Yeah,
So they get cold really quick, which is funny because when they first got there could be snow and Ed and Sue are outside with no coat on. Well, that's all changed now.
okay.
Where the rest of the tribe, they all went, they're down in Quartzsite. Kevin's down there. Felix is down there. Everybody went down to Quartzsite. Except for Ed and Sue.
It's the precious thing about selling brand right here at Valiant's. Tradition out the second door. Tonight on Wheels. Hey, man, rock the It's the good.
Your microphone's off, Paul and Dave.
Yeah, I know. I had to operate Alexa.
Oh,
Oh,
I don't think Paul knows his microphone's off. I don't know who he's talking to.
hang on a second. I'll be right back, Lynn.
Okay, Dave.
Well-
I was talking to Paul. He's with Bonnie.
She okay?
Yep, they're out having a cigarette.
Good, 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 good.
Little Llama Laura said she's off to bed. Catch you all soon. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up for the host.
Good night, Laura.
Good night, Laura. See you soon.
Hey, Ron, how you doing? If you want to pop in, up at the top of the chat is the link where you can just click on that and come in if you want it for a few minutes, Ron.
Hopefully he's got pictures.
Yeah, we like pictures.
Yeah.
Sit down. Just sit down.
He said, yeah, Flagstaff is at 8,000 feet. And there's a resort up there that has lots of snow.
Well, I bet Ed and Sue do, because they haven't posted this weekend, so.
Yeah.
Because they have a YouTube channel called Nomad Ranch.
Ah. Yep.
And Aja and the gang are down there in Quartzsite.
Well, that's good that they're down at Quartzsite, because isn't that kind of more of temperate situation?
Well, they, like Kevin and Felix were talking, during this day, it's really warm and sunny, and you got to wear a hat because you'll get sunburned. But then the evening, it gets cold and they do have to turn their furnace on.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, the weather was almost perfect for flying today. That's why I went and got 3 ships today, and they happened to have them coming by. I could have got a couple more, but just didn't want to overdo it,
When does that stop you?
I take my cue from you, honey. It's kind of like you up on the roof yesterday. You know what I mean?
Well, you be quiet.
No. Dave,
I
You know,
don't think you're up on the roof.
you know what?
Yeah, I was.
She got up on the roof and was cleaning her eaves troughs up.
I know she was, but I don't think she's supposed to be. I'll talk to her.
Hey, Laron, how you doing, my friend?
Good, how are you guys?
Hi, Ron.
Hi, Lynn.
So you're back home?
Back home, actually home till Friday.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
got a few days off?
Yeah, I was hoping the weather doesn't sound like it's going to be cooperative this week. I'd like to go up to the mountains, but I was out on, I mean, even though we only got like this area, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches of snow maximum, but the roads just, when I was traveling the interstate yesterday, I went to the neighboring town of Gillette, Wyoming,
Uh-huh.
and you could see this, the way the wind was going, there was this constant, I don't know how to describe it, like a little blanket of snow blowing across the road about 4 or 5 inches above the roadway. Maybe not even.
Snow snakes.
Yeah, kind of something like that. But
Lynn
That's
calls
what
them
we-
snow snakes.
That's what we call them over here in Michigan, snow snakes.
yeah, it just made things really icy. And I'd like to go up to the Bighorn Mountains. It's only an hour and a half away, but I was nervous just going a half hour away yesterday, but they're a lot better today.
Now, will you have to work over Christmas because
Hey, Chuck,
you're single?
This year, the way the schedule falls, I am off Christmas. I have offered. Every year I do it, whether I'm working or not. I offer coworkers that have small kids. I offer.
That's
say,
that's
"Hey,"
nice.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. It's about the kids and stuff. So,
Yeah, that's why I asked.
well, that's nice. That's nice of you to take care of that, Ron.
yeah. So
So-
today, I went up to my friend. I think you've heard me talk about him. My friend who's disabled and
Yep.
on oxygen and everything. And I went and shoveled his front and back decks today and helped him with a few things. Went to the grocery store for him and then come back and worked on a little project for him that he don't know about.
That's nice. Hi, Chuck.
Yeah,
Hey, Lynn.
I'm making a
Hold on.
sign for him out of wood.
Not much.
You're making a what for him?
He's a big hunter, and I got a big wooden slab. It's huge, and I bought some wooden letters, and he has what they call a trophy room. He's got everything from elk, deer, fish. antelope. I forget what all he's got in there, but I'm making him this sign out of wood. And the final thing I'll do to it, I don't know if you're familiar with it. I think it's called resin.
Yep.
It's like I think it's equivalent to like 50 coats of varnish.
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah, it looks like glass.
Yep.
And over the past year or two, I've been learning how to work with that. And it's kind of tough. You got to sit and babysit it for a
You
couple
got to mix
hours.
it just right.
Yep. And you can't mix it too fast. And then you got to sit there with either a blow dryer or a little propane torch, because these little air bubbles will pop up. And
Yep.
if you hit them just with a brief second with that torch or a blow dryer, and it pops out those little
I've got a
Sure.
girlfriend that works in that stuff. She got a bunch of silver platters,
mhm.
and then she got antique keys. And she
Antique
put 'em-
what?
Keys, like
Oh, okay.
skeleton keys, china cabinet keys, all the
Okay.
old antique type. Laid them on the tray, and then put the resin over top of it.
Mhm.
You hang it on the wall. Is it ever pretty? She made me one for Christmas
Yeah.
last year, year before.
I've done a couple projects for people, and anyhow, I made up a sign that says Dawn's Trophy Room, and I know
Nice.
he's gonna love it. You know,
Yeah,
it
he'll
live
like
edge?
that.
yeah.
Hey, Chuck, how you doing?
Good. Good, Paul.
Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Chuck.
Dave.
Justin?
Dave in
Hey,
the
guys.
dark.
Yep, and there is Justin.
Yeah, he said hi to me in the
Is the
chat.
plaque gonna have a live edge, Ron?
Pardon me.
Does the plaque have live edge?
Yes,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Hey, Chuck, been thinking about you. I haven't seen you for a while.
Been laying low.
Uh-oh, are you in trouble?
No, I'm not, I don't think so. Looking around, I don't think so. I'm wondering my camera's flickering. That's kind of driving me nuts. I don't know how to fix that.
Justin, what's new with you? Did you go out and fly at all today or anything?
Nah, it's pretty much just hung around the house all day today too. Being a little lazy today.
Ron's been out doing his services for all of his friends and everything. I think that's great.
You know what goes around comes around, Paul.
Yeah.
You better
I-
believe it.
I have found
Karma,
out that,
baby.
some people may be like, oh, what the hell did you move to like nowhere, Wyoming for? But I'll tell you what, this little community I live in, about 1 minute away is a grocery store. And it's owned by a couple, and I've only ever met the wife. At least I thought. And I was in there today, and this guy come up and said, "Hey, Ron, how are you?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, I hate this when someone says hi and like, I don't know who it is." But turns out it's the husband. And
Oh.
well, I started chatting. But anyhow, I started chatting with him, and then I realized, yes, I did meet you. Anyhow, long story short, I've got a tree.
I was pulling my pants up real fast as I ran out the door on my last time. Sorry, Ron. I'm just kidding, man.
No, I got a tree in my yard. It's got me pretty nervous.
Yeah.
I really don't like it. And I was chit-chatting with it, and he goes, "Come on, let's go for a ride." I'm like, "Okay." Well, we jumped in his truck, and he come up to my house, and turns out I didn't realize how wealthy they are. We come up to the house. He's like, "Ron, I'll take care of this for you." He says, "I'll bring one of his, he has some heavy equipment." He was telling me how he was going to do it. And he said, "You got anything planned today?" And I'm like, "Not really, not a whole lot." He goes, "Let's go for a ride." Okay. So he takes me to his house. Oh my God. He's got all the toys. He, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think 13 antique cars. Everything from
Wow.
a 1932 Roadster. He does all the work himself. And he has 2 big, gigantic shops. And on the one wall of his shop, I ain't kidding you guys, it had to be 10 feet tall, probably 20 feet wide. and all built with little shelves. He had almost every Hot Wheels made ever
Oh,
on
man.
his wall.
That's
on
cool.
And I'm sitting there thinking, you know what, those Hot Wheels, those things are worth some money.
The Hot
I gotta
Wheels and the
go.
Matchbox cars.
I gotta go collect my Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars from my old bedroom, at my parents' house before they
There
do
you
something
go.
stupid
I
with
just
them.
gave
Hang
my
on to them,
kids
Chuck. They're-
away.
That and GI Joes, they're worth big
I
money.
wasn't allowed to have GI Joe or Steve Austin or any of those action figure dudes because my dad thought they were,
Violent.
for kids that were going to be lighting their loafers someday.
Oh,
Oh,
Especially
I'll
if
tell
they're
you
in the
something else
original
that's worth as
packaging.
lot as the old Barbies from the 60s. Big bucks.
yeah.
the other one is Tonka trucks.
Yep. The original metal
Oh,
ones.
The original Tonka trucks.
I killed mine, and it took a
Oh.
lot to kill them, but I had a lot of fun with them, so I don't care. But yeah, they were awesome. I had Tonka trucks that sat underneath this patio outside by the beach in New Hampshire, Hampton Beach, and those things survived like
The
a
salt
decade or
water,
more
the
before.
salt air.
They survived over a decade of that abuse, just sitting there year round in the sand underneath the in the salt air. Those things were tough.
Yeah, but then just kind of finish the story though.
Sorry, Ron.
He said, Ron, he said, you clean up, that there was some lower branches and stuff and that. He said, do you have a chainsaw? And I'm like, no, it's next on my list to buy. He goes, no problem. Gives me a brand new chainsaw he's only used once. Gives me a gas can, the oil, the bar oil, and everything. And it says, here, hang on to it. He goes, just take care of it. I said, okay, I will. I'm like, but you see what I mean though? I mean, it's just,
Well, that's what you call old style country family.
it is.
Yes.
It is, and I just thought that was pretty cool. And, and being that I'm kind of old school myself, I will make sure when I'm done with that saw is spotless and returned in the same, if not better condition,
I'm waving
Next
to
time
Bonnie.
you're over there, get a picture of that 32 rat rod.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I told him. I said,
Yeah,
hey,
Paul.
if you ever,
Yeah.
what was kind of cool in his one shop is he had these hydraulic
Sorry.
and
Oh, you're like,
he had the cars stacked on top of each other on these hydraulic lifts. It was cool as shit. I mean,
Well, that's what my golf cart is a 1932 Ford rat rod.
really.
Yeah.
Yep. It's silver and it's got red flames on it.
Wow. Yeah,
My
these
grandpa
cars
had
are
them.
pristine.
She
Yeah,
drives that around town all the time.
Yeah.
nice.
My grandpa had a golf cart that looked like a Model T.
Really.
Yeah, it was really
There's a
cool.
lot of
looking.
those down in the villages, but I have yet to see one like mine.
Yeah, but I just thought that was, really cool. And I said, and, he even told me, he goes, Ron, that's the way we are around here. You said you moved into a good community. I'm like,
See,
obviously.
sounds like a really nice guy.
Yeah, super dude. And even yesterday, just to give you another example, and this is 15, 20 miles away, I was up at Devil's Tower yesterday, and I was in a restaurant that's right out in front of the tower, and it was pretty quiet in there. They're getting ready to close for the season, but this one gentleman came in and he sat down. He goes, how you doing, sir? And I'm like, very good. How are you? And he just picked up this conversation, and here it turns out he's the owner of the restaurant. But what a hell of a nice guy. And I was telling him about the tree issue too, and he's like, let me make a phone call for you. And he actually found a guy that, in case, I'm afraid to climb this tree. I just don't have the right equipment to climb this tree, because I want to cut it in sections, small
Just
sections. at a
sling load
time.
it down.
Yeah, and just kind of whittle it down. Because if I would cut it from the bottom and don't do it just perfect, It's either going to hit my house or hit my garage. But it's growing at like at an arch, and all I need is one bad windstorm in here, and I'm kind of screwed. So the tree has to go.
Well,
Sounds
Ron's
like a
got
great community.
yeah, Ron's a little scared of trees ever since he had to get his Pro 2 out of one eye.
Oh God, I'll never forget that day. The day of the Tweety bird. I massacred a Tweety bird.
Uh-oh.
With your Mavic 2 Pro?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was coming out of the northeast entrance of Yellowstone, and there's an area. Chief Joseph Highway. Google it sometime. It is absolutely beautiful, but it is kind of desolate. And I was flying this little canyon up this river, and I come back, and the sun is right in my eyes. I'm like, oh crap. So I'm like, all right, concentrate. I can't see the drone, and it's 50 yards in front of me. So I'm like, all right, concentrate on the controller. Use it's like flying an aircraft. Use your instruments. Get it above you. Well, all of a sudden, I glanced back up again, and I saw these little darts going back and forth. I'm like, oh shit, birds. And all of a sudden I hear, buzz. Uh-oh. And I thought I saw this explosion of like
Feathers?
Oh, no.
And then I looked down at my controller, and I saw the roll. And then all I saw was tree branches, pine tree branches. I'm like, oh shit. Well, it fell. Thank God the battery didn't fall out. And I'm like, which one of those 10 trees did it fall in? So I'm like, all right, keep calm. You're in the middle of nowhere. You're in grizzly country, but go up and try and use your instruments to try and find this damn drone. So I get to where the dot on the GPS on the smart controller, because the smart controller does not have the Find My Drone like your regular controller has. But I got right over top of the drone, and it still says I'm 35 feet away. I'm like, crap. And then I looked up, and thank God I saw a light. I'm like, oh dear Lord, there it is. And I'm like, I've got to climb a tree. And I'm like, there's no way in hell I am leaving here without this drone. So in these skinny little branches, I started climbing this tree. Matter of fact, I had this sweatshirt on and it has a big front pocket. And I got clear to damn near, I don't realize why it's 35 feet away. It's still 35 feet in the air.
Uh-oh.
And I climbed the tree, and sure as shit, I got it, shut it off, stuck it in this big pocket. And I'm like, oh crap, now I got to get back down. I'm like, oh, this is not fun. I'm not having a good time. And if I fall, I'm going to go down, roll down over the embankment into the river. Nobody's going to find me.
Was the drone intact when it hit the tree, or could you just dropped it onto the ground at that point?
No, it was intact. It was not a scratch on it.
Well, that sucks, because that means you got to get it down in one piece, and you too.
Yeah, that was, I don't know whether at that point I was more worried about me or the drone.
I'd be more worried about me than hell with the drone. I just want this memory card out of the drone. But I would have been like you, Ron. I would have been like, we're both getting down here alive. We're both getting, it's like a rescue effort. We're getting down alive. Like, hang on, Mavic. We'll be down soon.
Yep. So I said I stuffed it in my shirt. I'm like,
oh, there you go.
But I got back down, and the funny thing is, like, I walked back over to my truck, and I'm looking at it, and I don't see any scratches on it. I'm like, let me see if this thing's okay. So sure enough, I fired it up, and I'm like, it's fine.
Did you lose a prop, or what happened? Why did it drop?
No, the Tweety
Hit
bird.
the bird.
Yeah, but did you
he
break a
chewed
prop
it
or
up.
something?
Yeah.
I don't know. It knocked it off balance, and then all of a sudden it fell down, and then it hit. Thank God it hit a pine tree, because it was real soft bounces. When it hit the top of the tree, it only came down about 10 feet.
Yeah,
but it landed in a big soft branch.
Wild. I would have thought it would have recovered. That's almost
But
not
you
have
killed
much.
the bird?
Oh, the bird was toast.
Aw.
Yeah, he got jumped by a gang of birds. That's what
Yeah.
Hey, the bird should have steered clear. Dumb
My Mavic
bird.
was gang raped by a Tweety bird.
happened.
Bird brain should have steered clear. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, look at that.
That's
the
my
man's
toy.
Golf cart.
That's your little toy there, Lynn?
Yep, and then that's my girlfriend's yacht behind it.
Oh, wow. Shoot.
Do you let Paul drive it?
No, he can't fit in it. It's little.
Put a small block in that thing. The hell with the electric.
There's Lenny.
That was for the 50s thing. We were dressed up like Grease people.
Pretty
Yeah, the
cool.
pink ladies.
Yep,
Hmm.
my girlfriend and I went as the Pink Ladies, and that's a wig.
Did you do all the work yourself, Lynn, or?
No. I've had some done, and most of it was done when I bought it.
Oh,
Except
really?
for having, tires on it. Paul helped me put tires on it and new wheels on it. It's got AM, FM, CD player on it.
Sweet.
It's got a rumble seat in the back, but
Huh.
it's for aesthetics only. It's not to ride back there. It's got seat belts in it. It's a
Right.
48 volt.
Turn
Wow.
signals, brake lights, they everything.
It's street legal.
It needs a
I
small
can drive
block.
it anywhere here.
Well, see, Chuck, then that's when you take a side by side and you turn it into that. That's
I
what you
drive
need.
it down underneath the Blue Water Bridge and along the water all the time.
Can you guys do that in Michigan, Paul? I
Yeah.
have my side by side. I have a Kawasaki Teryx, and it's licensed to the road.
Well, the regulations are, it can't be over so many horsepower and it can't go faster than a certain speed. Like I think it's 28 or no, 30 miles an hour.
Well,
You
that's
don't
what it
have
says
that.
on the side on the data plate, but what you do after the fact.
Well, the thing of it is you can register them as street legal and get license plates and everything. But
I don't have to do that.
the police have advised us not to, because then if you drive that in a park or on a sidewalk, that's in violation of the
You get a
law.
ticket.
Then you
Yeah,
better
well,
put then it needs a small block to keep up with traffic. That's important.
No, I don't have any problem. I drive down the sidewalk.
Do a
I drive
wheelie
right
when you go
down
by
right
them.
here.
He drives
I
right
drive
down the
down
side of the
the
road.
dock.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
and you have to stay off of any road that is over 35 mile an hour,
Really?
but you
Yep.
can cross the road
You
carefully.
have to, just like you're driving a car, you got to pay attention. You got to use your turn signals, your brakes. You got to go by those traffic lights and the stop signs.
After-
It's same
So I
thing.
wonder how that would worked out for me being T-boned by a Tahoe and that thing.
You'd be dead.
Not well.
Yeah, hard pass.
Well, see, here, we don't have to have any of those regulations. We have to have a license plate light, a horn, and a rear view mirror. That's it.
Oh,
No turn
that's it.
signals, no brake lights. You do have to have it licensed and registered and have to have, insurance. Like you would a
I have
car.
insurance on it. It has all LED lights on it.
Lynn's got
That's
hers
cool for the
pimped
villages,
out
though.
pretty good. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a golf cart now. I'm talking about a 4x4.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
mine's a golf cart.
Yeah, the golf cart's cool for like a little community like that.
You
Yeah,
need to do
it's on
that to
a-
your
it's on a,
side by side, Ron.
It's on an
Pardon me?
Easy Go chassis.
Yeah.
I said you need to do that to your side by side.
Like I said, I use mine primarily for hunting, but
I had
I,
another one and it was a club car, but I sold it
okay.
because Paul wouldn't drive it.
I used to have all kinds of golf carts and sold them all, but ever since I got Mia doesn't want anything to do with a golf cart.
Really?
My other dogs, not a problem. Mia, nope.
So I bought a golf cart, had it all done up, all new roof on it, seats, the steering wheel, all the colors I wanted. Kept it up at Paul's house so he could use it to go down and film his ships, and he didn't use it. So I said, well, I'm tired of this. I just sold the SOB.
Yep.
I'm assuming you two live close together. Or?
Nope,
About 10, what is it, 10 miles, Lynn? Or-
not even 10 miles.
Okay.
He's at the north end of town. I'm at the south end of town. He lives up in the old neighborhood, Ron, where we grew up.
Oh, you guys grew up together?
We've known each other since 57.
Wow.
Oh,
Yep.
Paul
Few
saying,
years.
isn't it a lot to be electric?
Well, I'll tell you what's nice about the electric golf cart is
That
You talk about instant torque.
yeah, 100% torque off the line. Yeah, well, that's I was gonna say that about electric motors. That's the beauty. of
And
the
mine's
Tesla.
a 48 volt. You ought to see me jump.
Lynn punches that baby and the front tires almost come off the ground.
Really?
Almost not good enough.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get in
More
trouble with it.
voltage. Or Tim the Toolman Taylor. More power.
You know,
More
the
power.
the Tesla cars, they were pushing 900 on them dyno machines.
Yeah, they're
I drove a
They're
Tesla
insane.
once. I could not believe, man, when that thing
Motors.
threw
It,
me
it
back
goes
into
plenty
the-
fast enough for me.
Yeah,
never fast
I'm not in a
enough.
hurry. I'm just out cruising in it.
mine's governed at 55, and you know what? 98% of the time, I don't take it much more than 20. in the
Yeah.
woods, you know,
But you're-
that's
you're
what I
on a
bought it
lot of-
for.
I'm on a
55
flat
in a
land
golf
and you're
cart has
not.
to be intense.
Yeah, Lynn's on flat land.
Now they've raced Teslas against Hellcats. Now the Hellcat will beat the Tesla once it gets up. You know, they get up to
It's
top
rolling.
speed.
Yeah.
But that Tesla smokes
the
some
line.
Hellcats.
Yeah, off the line.
Yeah.
Plus they have the torque management and everything.
Yeah.
Grab
I've
and
never
go.
heard of a Hellcat.
What?
It's a Dodge
Dodge.
Char-
It's a
Yeah.
Dodge Charger.
It's a Dodge.
Well, the
Yeah.
Challenger,
Got like-
the Challenger
Mopar.
Hellcat was first.
Yeah, it's got like 800 horsepower or some crap like that. Was it
Mopar
8 or
project.
900?
They've been out a few years now.
Something like that.
Well, that's
Mm.
what Chuck wanted to get after he rolled his other vehicle, but he thought better. No, I better not do that. I better get another truck.
And you
Wow.
know what's really crazy about those Hellcats, Ron? Is they come with two different keys, a black key and a red key.
They have a
If
valet
you
key.
drive with the black key, it only unlocks 300 horsepower. If you drive with the red key, it unlocks the full motor.
Yeah, remember when the ZR1, the Corvette ZR1 had a valet key
Yeah.
Mhm.
in the glove box? You could
Well,
power
that's
down.
nice
But it
of
was-
you to call it the valet key, Chuck, but we all know that's the husband and wife keys.
Mhm.
Oh,
The wife's
Well,
gonna
this is what marketing
You give her the-
identified it as valet key.
Right, Lynn?
But
Yeah,
after
that's why
watching
you live
Ferris
in your
Bueller's
house
Day
and I live
Off, I don't
in
know if it
my
makes any
house.
difference.
Well, see, you can set the valet setting on the Hellcats, and it won't go over like 60 miles an hour. Yeah, like it limits it to like barely anything.
Yeah.
Bet he can get to that in about 3 seconds. That's the fun part.
But yeah, and then just like the Hellcats too, I think they have to go, I think 200 or 300 miles before the motor actually will unlock the full horsepowers of the motor. Like if it's a
Oh.
brand new one, they have to
That's
drive
my-
it for so long.
That's my ringtone.
Johnny Drone Flyer says he's got an Easy Go XTX gas golf cart.
ah.
See? Oh, won't do it. Won't do
Oh, I
it.
hear it.
Anyway, yeah, it is the burnout and everything. It's a
Yeah,
Hellcat
a lot of
ringtone.
people in our area have got the golf carts. Because we're a tourist community. Everybody's down on the docks and
They
parking's at a
used,
premium.
they used to rent them out, Lynn, didn't they?
Yep, they did.
Then
But people
COVID came.
abused them.
Yep, but also
Yeah.
COVID came to town.
Yeah. I missed the before days.
That just
Yeah, when I
shows.
go down to visit my girlfriend, her husband would come down, he'd say, "Can I drive it?" I said, "Sure, go ahead." I'm figuring he owns that big fancy boat. He can afford to buy me another one if he drives it into the river. So
Yeah.
Tom would jump
Gotta
in
get-
and away he'd go.
Got to get a Skydio 2 and follow that thing around.
No,
Some fun drone shots.
Lynn will not fly a drone,
Nope.
Chuck.
not
No,
happening.
Skydio
Skydio will
flies
just follow
itself.
you.
Yeah,
Just
it
wear the,
flies
just wear the
itself.
pendant, man. It'll just follow
Hey,
you around.
Lynn, tell them why you do not fly drones.
Because I got to fly the real thing. I don't want to fly.
Well,
a
I've heard
toy.
this before. I don't hear this
Yeah.
crap anymore.
It's a fact.
You have a plane, Lynn?
No, I flew helicopters in the
She was in
Army.
the military. She was in Vietnam and she flew attack helicopters and rockets and all that kind of
Well, that's
stuff.
all great
Really?
and all that shit, but
Yeah.
we're talking about
Models,
flying
Mike
like
models,
video and
Gates
stuff.
Cobras.
Cobras.
Really?
She liked the
Yeah.
Cobras.
Oh, shoot. That's cool.
Yep.
It's cool, but you just still have a Skydio 2 to chase her around on the
No,
golf cart.
I
get
don't
some
need
cool
it.
footage.
No,
Because
I
you won't be
have-
flying it, it'll just be
I
flying
tried to
for
get her to
you.
fly. I've tried to get her to fly one of my drones. No,
Nope.
not interested.
Oh,
I
all
go
right.
down a spot for him and I do production for him and stuff like that, but I don't want to fly that thing. It's a toy.
You afraid you're gonna crash it? Crash
Lynn
your
wants
toy
to
and
get
be
on that
all,
Reaper drone.
hurt your feelings and stuff?
Do
Nope.
you miss it, Lynn, at all?
Yes,
Prove
I
us
do.
wrong.
When the
Come on.
postcard flies over, I get goosebumps.
Hey, look, Lynn, I would fly a Reaper drone if they would let me, but they won't give me one. I'm stuck with
Yes,
this
I
way.
do miss it, Ron. I miss it a lot.
Best pilots, I seriously mean this, the best pilots I ever flew with in helicopters are non-pilots.
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about
I'll
this.
never
Oh,
forget
that's where it's off
one
the air.
guy, Chuck, I used to fly with back in Pennsylvania. The most calmest cucumber. I mean, this was obviously it was my first engine failure, but
Auto rotation time.
yeah, well, we were in a twin engine, and he used to fly Loaches and Hueys in Nam, and anyhow, we had just left home on our way to an accident scene, and I'm looking down, and all of a sudden I see the torque gauge just having a seizure. I'm like, Chuck, I said, what's the matter with engine 2? He goes, oh, damn it. He goes, we're losing an engine. Just as calm as, I'm like, what?
It's because that's what he did every day, Ron.
I know. And then, the weird thing is, and tell me, Lynn, you would know this more than me. Apparently, it's known that pilots, when that does happen, procedure is to start out to throw that bad engine back to idle.
Yep.
Is it known that pilots have been known to grab the wrong throttle and pull
Yes.
it back? Because that's what he did. And then he goes, ah, damn it, number 1's going. I'm like, what?
Yeah, because he overtaxed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I remember, and then he was flicking because the throttles were up, they had the detent buttons and they're up on the ceiling, the throttles were. And I remember he's back there flipping things back and forth. I'm like, oh, sweet Jesus, what is he doing up there? Meanwhile, I'm panicking, tightening my seatbelt till I'm damn near choking. And he goes, all right, we got number 1 back up. I'm like, okay, what do we do now? He goes, well, let's find an airport, someplace flat.
An open area.
Yep. So we did a single engine landing, where you come in and land like an airplane. And I remember us coming in and we hit the runway and hit just like an airplane, smooth as silk.
The helicopters do touch and go too.
Yeah. And I
On the
remember
skids.
because we had skids, and I remember the sparks flying all over the place.
Oh,
my
that's
God.
a wonderful feeling.
Okay.
Well,
Doesn't
you can
look
feel
good.
the vibration in your feet coming right up. It goes up from your feet up your legs through your body. It's awesome.
Well, I'm glad you think so. At the moment,
I'm
I
not-
did.
Okay, I'm just gonna let that one go right
I
there.
did. I love
I just had a washing machine vision though.
Oh my
no,
God.
A cycle
no.
moment.
I remember when we finally came to a stop, and he said, "Ron, you want to get out?"
Okay, I didn't let it go.
And
Sorry.
He goes, "Look out back." I'm like,
Smoke.
what am I looking for?" He goes, "Well, look for any fire, oil,
Smoke.
anything out of the ordinary." And I stepped out the door and I looked. I'm like, "Holy crap!" From about the middle engine cowling clear back to the tail rotor
Was black.
was jet black with oil.
Yep. Yep.
And
Well, it has 2 gearboxes in it, the 42 degree and 92 degree gearboxes. They both
Yep.
go. You got oil coming everywhere.
yep, we had a bearing lock up, and it was a mess. But
Yep.
yeah, that's kind of cool. I'm enjoying this conversation.
And Eddie's done it all, Ron.
Yeah.
I loved it. I miss it. And when they go over, I still get goosebumps because I do miss flying. I love flying NOE. I like the night firing. We made our own fireworks. It was a hell of an experience.
In Vietnam, she used to load up all those, they'd be transporting troops different places in the
Right.
Huey, and they would torture the hell out of them.
Because you fly
Maybe-
with the doors open.
Nap of the earth.
I don't know if you're familiar, Lynn, but I fly in what they call it's an EC 145. It used to be called
I've
the
heard
old.
about them.
It used to be called. Well, the old version was the BK 117. It was
Okay.
made by not Eurocopter, MBB. And when MBB and Airspace GL merged together, they became American Eurocopter. Then, because the whole operation was based in Pennsylvania, and they moved out to Grand Prairie, Texas. And
A lot of our maintenance people went down there when they closed Whiteman.
oh yeah, okay, yep.
Yep.
And the only other real scary, super scary moment was, we had a pilot from Poland that this guy, he had stories that he had flown for over 50 years. And we had gotten a brand new helicopter from a completely different company. And the helicopter we had, the lease was up and we were returning it to Grand Prairie. I got permission to fly along with him. And we flew cross country from Pennsylvania down to Texas, which was a really cool flight. It took us
That's a long ride.
2 days. We were over somewhere in Arkansas. And to this day, I'll never forget this moment, but we're flying maybe 500 feet above the clouds, or below the clouds rather. And all of a sudden there was this opening in the clouds. I wasn't thinking it's going to be a problem. Well, here it was some kind of a microburst or
Yep.
a wind shear, but we flew underneath that hole, and it's like somebody took a gigantic sledgehammer and
Yep.
just hit us. Next thing you know,
And you're shaking.
we went into a dive, and I'll never forget. He recovered it. We started at 3,500. He recovered it about 400 feet above the ground.
Oh, man. Oh, geez.
Holy crap! Talk about negative G's. Holy shit! Oh my god! I will never forget that day. Like, well, I'm done. We're gonna
We had a
make
bird
a hard
strike.
impact into the
We're out
ground.
doing maneuvers. We had a bird strike. He come right through the greenhouse
Uh-huh.
after he hit the blades. So we had a blade strike and a greenhouse out. We had
Ooh.
to do an auto rotation and land in this field in the middle of nowhere.
Wow. This is a cool. I'm enjoying this conversation, Paul. Yeah.
Well, Lynn's got secrets she could tell, but she sworn to secret.
But
Bummer.
Well, you know, some agencies require a non-disclosure agreement. You have to sign it. And others don't. My agency did. So
okay.
Yeah, after she left the army, well, when she went in first, Ron, she was flying jets. You know, when you're flying a jet and you pull the G's and the suit pumps up to keep you from
Yeah.
all your blood
Yeah.
running out of your head. They didn't make them back in the
for
70s
women,
for women,
Really?
and it was pushing parts of her in places it wasn't supposed to push.
Oh,
And
shit.
she complained and complained and complained, so they transferred her over to the army to fly copters.
Really?
F-111 Voodoos,
Yeah,
Okay. What did you enjoy flying most, Lynn?
helicopter, fixed wing, every day, all day, nighttime too.
Yeah. Wow.
Rotary wing. What am I saying?
yeah, rotary wing.
Rotary
Yeah.
wing, not fixed. I
Yeah.
don't like regular planes.
Well, not after your jet experience, I'm sure.
No,
I mean, that's my primary location where I work now is fixed wing, but like next week I have 3 shifts coming up on the helicopter here in about a week and a half. And that's what I did most of my career was fly rotor.
I like the rotor.
For over 20 years. I mean, one of the first female pilots I ever flew with was in California, and we left LA and went over to Catalina Island.
Oh, that's pretty.
I've been there.
She was Nancy was her name, and she was a super cool pilot, great historian. We're on our way over, and she told me the whole history behind Catalina Island, and yeah, it was really, yeah, she was neat.
You want
Great
to
gal.
talk about golf carts galore? Go to Catalina
Yep.
Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see how much houses and apartments are over there?
Yeah. Yeah.
We went there for an 8th grade field trip one year.
Cost prohibitive.
Did you used to live in California, Justin?
Yeah, I'm from Southern California, from the desert.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, But we went there for an 8th grade field trip for a week trip. And it was like a science thing, and we went snorkeling and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, it was owned by the Wrigley family. Used to Wrigley's Gum.
Yep.
That's who used to own that. Well, they think they still do. Yeah.
Lynn used to have a lot of fun with the guys in the tower at the different places where they go, because she'd land the
We stopped
copter
to refuel.
to refuel. And she had the big helmet on, with the microphone, and she was wearing the
The
military
green flight
body,
suit.
flight suit, and she'd get out of the helicopter and she could still hear them in her ear. And they were oohing and on, who's that? Who's that? And then she'd take the helmet off, and she had long blonde hair and it flowed down her back.
You're like,
And they went crazy, didn't they, Lynn?
The airwaves got a little busy, and then till somebody
The
would say,
airwaves.
knock out the unnecessary transmission.
Hmm. Yeah, some of
That
the
was
funniest
fun.
things I've heard is from air traffic controllers.
Yep. We stopped at Navy Tuscaloosa, Alabama. That was the funniest one.
Hmm.
Because the guy in the tower knew the pilot. I was just co-pilot. He knew Tom Hephill. And he says, Tom, how the hell did you rate? How does that work?
Hmm.
Tom was like a dad to me,
Yeah.
But it was
Tell me
fun.
about it, boy,
I had a lot of great experiences.
I remember one night we were coming out of Philadelphia, and there was some small plane trying to get into the Philly airspace, and it was a busy night, and he was a private plane. He was getting pissy because he wasn't getting the clearance he wanted, so he started mouthing off to the controller, and all of a sudden the controller stopped, said everybody's transmission stand by, and he called this plane back and said, listen, you want to keep your attitude up, you can stay out of my airspace, and he told that single engine pilot, pretty much watch your mouth, watch your attitude, or you can just stay the hell out of the Philly airspace.
Yep. Kansas City was like that. Because we used to fly from Whiteman to Kansas City to pick up bigwigs
Really.
that came in from the adjutant general's office.
Mm-hmm.
We just buzzed down there. It was only like 60 miles. It didn't take us but a few minutes to buzz down there, pick somebody up.
When did you stop flying, Lynn?
In the early 80s.
Okay.
That's when she transferred over. She went to work for Department of Investigative Services at the Pentagon.
Now I went to work for Defense Intelligence Agency with the Army first.
Okay.
And then when I retired from the military, I worked for Defense Investigative Service as an investigator, federal investigator, till I
Right.
retired from them.
Wow.
And she enjoyed being at the White House when
No, I did not.
when Hillary was
Need to hear this again?
Oh,
there.
No, I did
In the
not.
reruns.
I met
I should
Part
get
of
off
the
here
Secret
lately. Let's listen to
Service.
this stuff.
when I met President Bush, and when they came to our little town of Coatesville, Pennsylvania, and I met some of the Secret Service guys who were actually there when the Clintons were.
Did you
in
get to
office.
meet Gary Byrne?
I'm not sure. There was one
Gary's
guy.
post was right outside the Oval Office. He had to take care of that famous Monica Lewinsky towel.
Oh, really?
Gary was just a young guy then. He's got a book out. He's got a couple of books out. And he tells it like it is in these books. So if you ever get a chance to read Gary Byrne's books, don't bypass it. It's worth everything. Everything Gary talks about in there is a fact.
One of the things that they said, the one guy told me, because we sat there with Marine One, and the one guy was telling me that she was the biggest pain in the ass that they had ever dealt with in his career. And he said one of the things that she used to do was she would try and dress up and disguise herself and try and sneak out of the White House to go out on her own. And they would catch her every single time. And
She
then
hated us.
when they grabbed her, she would kick and scream and cry like a little kid.
Yep.
She hated
just-
Secret Service.
Oh, but yeah, none of them had 1 ounce of a good thing to say about her. Not
Nope.
one. Yep.
All right, Paul, I gotta jump out.
Okay, Justin. Hey, thanks for coming in, buddy.
All right, I'll see you guys all later.
Night,
See you,
Justin.
Good night.
Later, Justin.
Sorry, Paul. I've been kind
Well,
of
that's okay. You know,
hogging up the conversation.
it's something to talk about because not a lot of people are flying right now. And you know,
Then
we
I got to
talk-
tell you one more story.
okay.
This is the most interesting one. Was after 9/11 happened, and I want to say we were grounded for, I think, about a week and a half before we were allowed to fly medevac missions. And this is when I was living back in Philly. And when we were allowed to fly every day, our pilot had to call into the FAA and give our tail number, his license number, his name, the crew, all our social security. I mean, my God,
Manifest.
Yep.
the whole not, I mean, a serious manifest. And anyhow, whenever we got a mission, they gave us a special squawk code for the day. And you know, we kept that squawk code no matter where we went all day long. But I remember we went into Atlantic City, we picked up a patient and brought him into Center City, Philadelphia. We're coming up out of Atlantic City, out of the south, and coming into Philly, got clearance into the Philly airspace. We landed in Center City. There's a big trauma center called Thomas Jefferson, big spinal cord level 1 trauma center. And we deliver the patient, and we come back up to the roof, and the way we would depart from that rooftop, we could actually scoot right outside of the Philly airspace and start heading back to the east, or I'm sorry, to the west to go back home. Well, we fire up, we lift off, we start scooting, and all of a sudden the controller calls us. And he says, 649 Mike Sierra. He said, have you departed the hospital? He said, affirmative, we have. And, you know, he said, we're westbound, we're at this altitude. He said, well, you didn't have clearance or permission. He said, we're outside the airspace. They said, here's your choice. Return to your departure or risk being shot down. I looked over at the pilot. I said, do you mind turning this thing around? We spun around. This is no lie, guys. We spun it around. The pilot goes, holy shit, they're mad. We spun it around. We come back and we landed on the hospital rooftop. All of a sudden, it was like 10 seconds later, 2 A-10 warthogs come side by side, whipping through the city. I'm like, holy shit. This is when, you know, things were still at super high alert, you know, like 2 weeks after 9/11. I will never forget that day. Oh my God. I'm like, thank God we landed.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Wow. Okay, I'm done
But
storytelling.
it's something you'll never forget.
I will never forget that. But
So Chuck, what have you been up to, Chuck?
Just put a new screensaver on the phone while you guys were talking.
Oh,
Planes.
good.
yeah, well,
You know,
Ron
I
was-
had to
I know,
get a
pretty
new
exciting,
phone.
right?
I had to get a new phone, and I'm so. What was wrong with my 7-year-old phone? You know, why did I have to get a new phone?
Because the company doesn't take care of that phone anymore. It's a fossil.
It was 3G network, and they were threatening to shut it down. And
So what are you running now?
5G, I'm running a. It's
What is it?
He doesn't know.
This is a Pixel 6 Pro.
this is a Galaxy 5G, some damn thing, whatever.
Mine's an a Samsung Galaxy A12 is what I ended up with.
Yeah, I hate Samsung. No offense, I just hate them. So I just
Hey,
for
it
no
was
good
the cheapest
reason.
one, Chuck. I'm cheap.
Yeah,
Pixel,
I
baby,
like to spend
Google.
money.
they gave us the phones.
No, they did not. I had to pay for mine.
Yeah, I paid for mine too, but I got a good solid. Wow, Paul, you're the opposite with phones as you are with drones, aren't you?
Yes.
I got a good solid 2.5 years out of my Moto phone before it pissed me off so much. I just had to get a new one because
I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you my old phone that I actually.
But you're young and tech savvy, Chuck. You understand all that stuff. It's all Greek to me.
This is an LG,
Look at that.
and it's the Flex phone. It's the one that they built 7 or 8 or 10 years ago. You
Fit in
put
your
it.
pocket.
Everybody was putting them in their back pocket, and you can actually flex it.
Well, this is
The
my
guy at the
last
phone
one.
store, you should have seen how excited he was to see.
Oh, he
Paul
was
Gold's
excited.
phone.
He was showing it to everybody. Look at this. I've never seen one of these.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was
Wow.
it was a Sprint Spark phone.
I have the S20, Samsung S20. I'm pretty happy.
No, the
with it.
Samsung phones are really good. I just never it's because my early interaction with TouchWiz ticked me off. I didn't really dig it. So
I don't even know what that is.
it's the UI, it's the user interface. That's the layer on top of the OS is TouchWiz.
As long as my phone, I can get calls and I can make calls. And once in a great while, I'll text. Other than that, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't use
Samsungs have
anything else.
good cameras though.
The Samsung camera is really, really, really good. In
I
fact, I was
prefer
reading
the
about
camera in my iPad.
I heard about the Pixel. They compared the Pixel 6 Pro to the Samsung. What is their flagship now? Is it the S21 or whatever?
It's 21, yeah.
Yeah, and Pixel comes up short.
Well, here's
most
what I'm
cases.
trying to figure out. Okay, this new phone I got. See the back? What the hell do I need 3 cameras for? I can
I
only
have
shoot
3
one at a
also
time.
because
Yeah.
you have 3 different zooms. You have like zoom cameras and stuff.
Yeah,
it's awesome,
they're,
dude.
like, panoramic and
Mine
zoom
has
and
5.
Yeah.
shit.
Wait till you can film in 24 frames per second, Paul, and be all cinematic with your phone, vlogging and stuff.
No.
Mine's
Mm,
got 5 cameras on the back, and I don't know what to do with them.
use them.
To take pictures of what?
What do you mean?
You could
I
have
don't do
taken.
I
anything
can't get any
exciting.
closer to this thing. I can use a zoom lens and get in
You know, it's-
closer if the lighting's
you-
good. Bam. Instant. There you go.
Chuck, I don't leave the house.
Well, then I guess you don't need the cameras then.
No, I don't.
I do.
You know, when you get old, you're just pretty happy to just stay, upright.
Yep, that's right.
Screw that. That's not to that point yet, thank God.
You got a long way to go, buddy.
That's because you're a youngin', Chuck.
That's right.
How about that?
You and Ron are
denial.
just members of the young generation.
We're in
Lynn and I
denial.
are the ones that were one foot in the grave and the other foot on a banana peel. You know.
Yep. I've been
Ron's
retired
climbing
over
trees and stuff. He's got me beat. I'm not climbing trees to get my drone
I've
out.
been retired over 20 years now.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
How many years total government service, Lynn?
Was 6 with the Air Force, 21 with the Army, and 12 with the Civil Service.
Thank you for your service, Lynn.
You're very welcome. It was
Yes,
my
really.
honor.
You know, the one thing that pisses her off, Ron,
What's that?
to this day, the Pentagon and her official papers will not show that she flew any or did anything in combat in Vietnam because she's
In Vietnam. It
because
says
she's a
other
female.
on my 214.
Yeah,
Yep.
that
Really?
sucks.
And I'm not the only woman that has that problem
Really? Why? May I ask her?
because the only women that were authorized to be over there were nurses.
Oh, yes, I
Anybody that
remember
was in
that.
communications, intelligence, anything like that, we did not exist. We were not there. So on our 214s, it says other.
Other. It's all it says is other.
That sucks.
Yeah.
It does suck.
Tell me
I
about it.
agree.
Yes, I mean
But
she
yet-
used to fly. She used to fly missions into Laos and stuff, and come back and
But
forth.
get
And
this,
pick-
I had
Yeah,
Back
Oh,
with a
yeah.
bunch of
Vietnam
bullet
plates.
holes in your aircraft, and then
Yeah.
you don't get credit for that.
No,
Well, I
That
didn't get
sucked.
credit for what happened to
Does
me either.
suck,
I didn't
right?
get nothing for that.
she got kidnapped off the streets of Saigon and held for 24 hours, and she was tortured and everything until
No, 11 and a half hours. but
11 and a
yes,
half
I
hours
was.
until a military SWAT team came in and rescued her.
That's bullshit.
Yep,
but yet-
I have
Nobody will do
No.
anything for you.
no, but I get 100% disability because of that. And I do have Vietnam plates on my car and my motorhome.
And you deserve it.
Except,
well-
except Ron, when she goes to anything, everybody says, "Well, tell your husband thank you for his service."
That
Oh.
happens to me at the gas station. If I go to anything with my army hat on, they want to know why I'm wearing my husband's hat.
I'm sure you correct them.
Yes, I do.
Well, you know,
And I tell them I wasn't issued a husband. And the one I found wasn't worth a shit, and he was an Air Force officer.
Yeah,
So after 22 years, I dumped his ass.
but see, that to this day, I wish that somebody would change that, just for the record, you know?
but not that it's right, Lynn, but I think back in that time period and maybe even as little back as 10, 15 years ago, it's not right. But that was the mentality of
Was
the
the
general
way.
public.
It is still that way, not as bad as it was during my time. But the
Really?
women today, they still encountered the discrimination, and they're not wanted there either.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I talked to a lot of gals over at the VA. Yep. A lot of the groups I'm in a lot of women's veterans groups. And some of them get so upset about it, they get really depressed and cry about it. I just get pissed and say, screw you. I know what I did. I don't have to explain nothing.
Yeah. I myself was never in the military. The only, and it, trust me, it's not 100th of what you guys did, but my only contribution to my country was I spent 2 years in California on a military base as a civilian contractor, and our job was to protect the soldiers. We did the medevac for the U.S.
But
military.
you still served, maybe not in a military capacity, but you still served our country.
Yeah, and that was our job, and you know, I tell you what, I learned a lot, and I gained a lot of respect. We were on the base. We had every privilege that every military soldier had on the base.
Yep.
It was kind of cool. I learned a lot. One of our
And you had a
jobs was-
clearance.
Yep. We had to go through a pretty hefty FBI background check to work there.
Yep, I used to do
Um,
those.
That's one funny story. I used to use that line. It was true whenever I was dating girls, you know, like I used to use the online dating. I say,
Yeah.
hey, the FBI says I'm okay, you know, so because a lot of women, you know, when you use that online dating, they kind of check you out.
Yeah.
Like, is this
Yeah.
guy legit? And like,
Hey,
well, the
hey,
FBI
Lynn,
says
Bill
I'm okay.
Bill Fisher wrote in the chat, thank you for your service, Lynn.
You are most welcome. It was
And Mike
my honor.
Henry says salute to you, Lynn.
Thank you, Mike. It was my honor. You're very welcome. I don't regret anything I did.
Lynn, have you ever heard of Fort Hunter Liggett?
No.
29 Palms?
Yes.
Okay. I worked at both those bases in California. And like I said, what I couldn't understand is the military, they did so much subcontracting to the civilian world.
Yes, they did.
And I couldn't understand why. I remember I was talking to the lieutenant colonel one day and he said, you guys are cheaper, easier, you're better on our insurance.
Yep.
I forget all these reasons he came up with.
All
but-
about money.
It's
But, you
all
know-
about, being fiscally responsible.
But they had their own helicopters, they had their own doctors, medics, nurses, but they said we were easier and cheaper.
Chuck,
Well, you have to be cost effective.
Chuck, did you hear a little bit of sarcasm in Lynn's last statement?
Yeah, government and fiscally responsible.
It's a joke. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're right, Chuck.
Yeah. It's easy to spend other people's money.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Fort Hunter Liggett, Lynn, was a military base that was just south of Monterey, and
Okay.
it was 60-some thousand acres of property. It used to be owned, and Paul and Lynn, you'll remember this. Do you remember William Randolph Hearst and the
Yep.
You
Patty Hearst?
betcha, the Hearst Castle.
Yep.
Patty
His
Hearst,
daughter,
a little bit, yeah.
Remember the Patty Hearst
Experience of
scandal?
her, yes.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
Chuck
Yep.
probably don't remember this, but
I remember Patty Hearst.
you remember
Oh,
that,
yeah.
Chuck?
Hmm.
Wow. And William Randolph Hearst, I think there was some taxes or some kind of problem, but
Had to do with the castle. with
yeah,
his-
he
with
ended
his
up
house.
selling that property to the U.S.
Hey.
military. Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, we used to fly above the Hearst Castle all the time.
Wow.
But anyhow, I remember a lot of the terrain there was very similar to Afghanistan, big mountains, and the military had set up like these little Taliban towns for like scenarios and practice.
Uh-huh.
And the soldiers would go out there and do like live scenarios and stuff. And what was neat for me, what I really enjoyed, I mean, all my life and career, you know, I've probably 80% of my career has been helicopter. And
Good choice.
I go out on like accident scenes and stuff, but out there, part of our job also was to train the new recruits coming in to prepare them for medevac operations in the field. So they would set, you know, one day the lieutenant colonel would call us and say, "Hey, I need you guys to help with this scenario today." And we would go out to these live fire scenarios, and we'd land in a hot LZ, gunfire going off. It's like, oh shit, I'm not used to this back, you know, what I normally did in the civilian world, you know, but it was kind of cool though.
Yeah, my oldest daughter, she did helicopter. She was a medevac too. She did that for quite a few years in Champaign, Illinois by the U of I.
Okay.
Now she's down at A.D. Anderson. She's a proton cancer therapy nurse.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, she loves it.
Hey, Lynn, I'm going to share a picture of you.
Oh, boy.
Uh-huh.
Oh, geez.
What year was that, Lynn?
70, 80.
78?
Yeah, it was
That you-
Jennifer and I.
You were still in the military then, right?
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
And what was
That
your
was the
highest?
Farrah Fawcett look back then.
What was your highest rank, Lynn?
E7.
Mm-hmm.
I was chosen to go get my warrant, and my asshole husband said, "Bullshit, I'm not having my wife be an officer, and I'm enlisted."
Oh.
So, but then get this, the year after that, he was selected to go to OTS. And of course, you know, he went.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, double standard. So yes, he became an officer. He went from being an E7 to being an officer. And when he retired, he was a colonel. That's okay. I'm taking half that son of a bitch's retirement for
Yeah.
the rest of my life.
Ooh.
I was married to him for
Good
22
girl.
years. He traded me in on a 19-year-old.
We should have got at least two night or two.
Well, I'm telling
19-year-olds.
you what I said to him in the courthouse.
Oh boy.
Most expensive piece of you ever had in your life. I hope it was worth it.
Uh-huh. Hmm.
So he's paying. And even if he dies, I still get it till the day I die
Yep. Yep.
with full benefits, which is funny because I have my own benefits. But the new wife, she don't get nothing because she was never married to him when he was active duty.
Yeah. Yeah, my ex-wife did the same thing. She got rid of me, and well, actually I got rid of her. But she married a 25-year-old, and she was in her mid-40s. And I'm like, you should have got at least two 25-year-olds out of the deal.
You bet. You
You
bet.
got short changed. So
Nope. Just things don't work out all the time.
yeah.
Not all of us can be lucky like Chuck and Lori.
We're lucky.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are.
Dave.
Tell him,
Dave's
Dave.
back.
Yeah, my mom called. I had to take my mom's phone call.
Ah,
Dave Enos, how the hell are you, buddy?
Yeah.
I'm
Dave, how you
doing
man?
good. How are you doing, Ron?
I'm doing well, sir. It's always good to
That's
hear
good
from
to
you,
hear.
bud.
Yeah, it's good to see you and your friends.
Behind him?
Yeah, up
His
on the wall.
victims. His
Do
victims.
they have
I have-
names, Ron? Do you name those things?
But actually,
Spike.
up on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Elvis, Victor, and Matthew.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, this picture.
Michael
Pretty
and
cool.
Andrew were out in the other room.
How many do you have?
too many.
His own herd.
I think there's 7 in there. Yeah.
Wow.
Enough to pull his sleigh.
um,
Rudolph. You Rudolph.
yeah.
Well, I hope Rudolph's not up there.
They're all
I
stuck through
wouldn't
the
do- I
wall
wouldn't
there.
do
It's
that
gonna be a
to
bitch from
Rudolph.
to pull a sleigh.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
Every one of them had the same problem. They're all chasing girls.
Well, why doesn't that not surprise me?
Well, the blood
Here's
has to leave the brain when that
Here's the
happens.
golf cart that Lynn sold.
Oh, that thing's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was a club car. Did
Look.
silver and blue on that one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, to get back to the Bucks, the blood has to leave the brain, and then things go south. That's
Well,
why
it
guys
happens.
get
It
stupid.
seems to happen quite often.
Well, there's only a fixed volume of blood in the system. If it has to be deferred somewhere else, directed somewhere else, can't be in the brain now, can it?
No, it sure as
all of
hell
it.
can't.
Yeah. Issues.
Lynn, I found a back shot of your golf cart from when you first bought it.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh
Awesome.
yeah, with my
That's
rumble
cool.
seat.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the
Yeah,
day I
that's-
went and looked at it and bought it right on the spot.
Yeah, I would too.
I called
Oh.
Paul. I said, "Get your ass over here with the trailer. Pick this thing up. I'll meet you at the corner."
If you don't mind me asking, Lynn, what's not too personal? What's something like that worth? Or
Oh, it's worth about 9 or 10, but I only paid 23 for it.
oh wow,
The guy wanted the money for Christmas gifts for his grandkids. He was hurting. He wanted 4, and I
Really?
got him down to 23 cash.
oh shoot, okay.
I like the
That's
club
why I
cart.
had to get the hell out of there quick.
I kind of
Yeah.
like that club cart with those deep dish rims and stuff. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, well, that one wasn't as much fun.
It looked cool.
It carries more people, but it's not as much fun.
Yeah, it had bigger wheels on it, didn't it?
And I like the sound system in my hot rod.
Yeah. I tell you, I really enjoyed that guy's collection today.
Well, you're gonna have to get a picture of that one. I'd love to see it.
Yeah,
The 32.
yeah. It was really, he had 2 big, they were probably 20 or 30 by 40 shops. And yeah, he had he goes, "Ron, come on, come see my collection." I'm like, holy crap. He had a lot of toys. I mean, it was
I have a cousin that has a collection that he goes all over the country with. And he's got a half track from World War II from my dad's battalion.
Mhm.
And he's got that. And then he's got Model Ts that he takes down to the Henry Ford Museum in Dearborn, puts it
Yeah.
on display down there. Whenever there's a car show, John probably has 6 or 7 vehicles that he enters in the show every year. It's quite a deal for him and his family to move those cars from the house down to the parade route or wherever the show is.
My dad had a Model, I can't remember if it was a Model A or a Model T right before he passed away. And he sold it like 2 weeks before he passed away. I would have kept that
Mm,
for sure. But he did have a 65 Ford Galaxy convertible.
wow, nice.
And stupidest thing I ever did. Stupidest thing. I inherited that car.
You
And
sold it?
What used to pass for an ex-wife bitched and complained because it was always in the garage and blah 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 blah. And I had enough, so I sold it.
Oh, man.
As a matter of fact, I sold it to Bill Clinton's best friend. Yes. He
Wow.
this guy was from Georgia, and he went to high school with Bill Clinton. The two of them were best friends, and he bought the car for his daughter. His family apparently owned a whole gaggle of Galaxies, convertibles. And yeah, I wish I would have sold it now, but
I promised myself I would never tell that story. Yeah, I had my 2001 Corvette, but I sold it because
The red one?
Yeah, I'm saying I never want to tell this story where it's like
No,
I had
don't
the
you ever
Corvette
tell that
and I
story.
sold it because insert really bad excuse for selling it here and in the section
Mm.
there. Yeah, so many guys have regretted doing that. But Ron, you did it for a reason at the time,
Yeah.
but doesn't make it any easier, I'm sure now.
No.
But it's like
No, it's like 69 Z28.
Oh,
Regret letting that go.
yep. That was a cool car.
they're
It was
cool.
a fun car.
They're still cool if you can find one.
Mm.
Mhm.
Guy that bought it drove it from New Jersey to here in Michigan, and from here out to Fairchild Air Force Base in Spokane. There's my cousin's.
That's his
Stuff right
half
there.
track. Yeah.
That's freaking cool.
And see
right
the
there.
Model T over there, the white one. That's Johnny's too.
That was the color of my dad's car. What is that? Is a
I love the gun on the. I love the turret with the gun up top. Oh, that's badass. I need that on my truck right now.
Well, look at
Well,
it. It's got 2 machine guns on each side.
Yes,
One on
that's
each side.
awesome. Look
Well,
at that thing.
that half track came from the unit my dad was in World War II.
Paul. What is that car to the right corner of that? Yeah, right
Blue
there.
one.
Yeah.
I think that's a Pontiac, isn't it? Looks like Pontiac taillights.
If I could see that big Pontiac nose, I'd know for sure. Ah, there's another angle. Where is it?
There it is.
Way up
Yep.
there.
Yeah.
That thing's a land boat. Look at that thing.
Yeah.
So, oh. You didn't orbit it, Paul, with the drone? You didn't orbit?
He did. He took all kinds of drone pictures that day. He does it every car show. We work the car shows here. I have my own cart, my own trailer now, and I haul my golf cart down to the car show, and I'm the one that when they pull in, they follow me to their parking spot.
Volkswagen. I'm like, no, I did not
I
sell my
see
vet
that.
for
The
that pile of
VW
crap.
Bug.
It's from a brewery called Silversmith in Bend, Oregon. Hence the bug, right? Or the bus,
Yeah.
fits
Yeah.
Bend, Oregon just fine.
All the
It's even
hippies.
green. Yeah, it's even green.
The hippies out north.
Chartreuse.
Chartreuse? Yeah,
Yep,
sort
that's
of.
the name of that color.
Chartreuse.
Yeah. Well, I thought chartreuse was more lime yellow than fluorescent
Nah,
yellow,
it's
not
green.
fluorescent green. Yeah.
No.
It's like in the song Convoy, they talked about, was it 5 long-haired friends of Jesus and like 5 long-haired friends of Jesus riding in a chartreuse microbus or something?
Yeah.
Is that a line
Yep.
from Convoy?
Yep.
Something like that.
Yeah. I
See,
know
Jeff,
that
you'll be
song.
able, when you get old like us, you can look back on all the neat toys and cars you had.
Yeah. I already looked back a little bit. My
I
parents
had
have
a
an
friend who had a '69 Camaro Indy pace car. We used to ride around up and down the drag in on Friday and Saturday nights, and it was convertible.
Of
And,
course it was.
it was pretty righteous. It wasn't primo. It wasn't all decked out, but he was working on it. I think it was.
Well, took that Z out to Fairchild, and some guy that goes to car shows bought it, and he did nothing but put it in car shows. It never drove on the street again.
Yeah.
Chuck,
there's
you
a-
still have a Corvette now, don't you?
yeah, it's in the garage.
What do you get? What do you have?
It's a 2001 coupe.
It's a red
Oh.
one, right?
Yeah, it's torch. It's torch red.
Okay. I
Black
thought I
seats,
remember
package
hearing
3.
you mention about it before.
Yeah, I don't drive it much anymore.
Why not?
Because it just kind of sets. Because I like driving my truck more. In the
Oh.
urban jungle, the truck's easier to drive. And
Well,
given
in
what
the
happened
urban
in
jungle,
September,
yes.
it's reason enough.
I
to-
remember.
yeah, I'm kind of a little scared to drive it right now, but maybe in the spring we'll see. I refuse to sell it though.
Hmm.
That
There
is
it is.
cool. I
There's
love
Lynn
that
in the
thing.
parade. That's her right there.
Very cool.
Wow.
Yep, the front driver's seat was empty in memory of my father.
Yep.
And cooler.
Dad was supposed to be there that day, and he was too sick to go.
I'm
Because
assuming
when
was it-
John first bought that half track, he called my dad and he says, "Uncle Bill, you're not going to believe what I bought." and he was all excited. So Dad went out to his house. Dad's walking around looking at it, and he almost fell to his knees when he got behind it. And he saw the battalion and the company on it. It came from his battalion and his company
That's
when he was
freaking cool.
overseas. Yep.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love that
Yep.
the guns are still on it.
Yep. Nothing works though.
Crap. Fix
No,
that.
none of that crap works, but everything else, I mean, that thing is loud when you're riding it because of the track, and it's a metal track. So
Oh, gosh, I bet it is loud.
it is. And it's hot. It gets really hot. Oh, Jesus.
There's Lynn when she was in Italy. She
Looks
was
like you
thinking-
pulled your daughter's head off in that picture. That's really
Yeah.
creepy.
That was on our balcony in our hotel in Desenzano, Italy, when we first got there. It was Jennifer and I and my little Cocker Spaniel, Tisha.
So could you take the front tires off that truck and put skis on it? It's gonna be like the truck from Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I guess you have to lose the guns too, but because I always wanted that.
Yeah,
truck.
John puts that thing in a lot of different veterans parades and static displays and things like that.
I'm sure it's a crowd pleaser. That thing's
It
pretty
is
cool.
is very much so a crowd pleaser.
Hey, Lynn, is this a picture of you?
Yes, that's on the beach in Riva Bella, Italy. That's my girlfriend, Virginia. That's me in the middle, and that's Virginia's son, Eric. We were down on the beach in Riva Bella. And down there, people walk up and down with baby lions and tigers on the beach. And you get
Really?
to hold them and pet them. And
Wow.
Wild.
I kind of had a similar experience in Wichita, Kansas. My brother, he was the main caretaker for a wildlife animal park, and we used to take the baby tigers to the Wichita Garden Show and let the public bottle feed them. And
yep.
but he had the one Siberian tiger. Maya was, I think, a year old, about 300 pounds. And the funniest thing, we used to put her in the front seat of the truck, and we'd take her for car rides or truck rides. And I remember I was always in charge of holding her leash, and she was actually pretty friendly. Every once in a while, she would get a little rough, and I was a little intimidated, but I remember the one time we went
Oh,
into town and
Jesus.
we had to stop at a hardware store, and we went to get out, and I said, "Hey, are you going to lock the truck?" He goes, "No." He said, "Would you get in the truck and try to rob this truck?" And I'm like, "Yeah, good point." But yeah, we used to swim
And that-
with her in the lake, and yeah, she was a pretty cool lion or tiger.
Yeah, that picture, I just gotten back from Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Been down there doing rappelling. And I hadn't seen Jennifer in about 2 months.
Well, Kentucky got messed up. How many of our drone brothers and sisters got hung up in that tornado mess?
Oh, they haven't found.
Oh, man.
Jesus. Even the Corvette factory took a whack.
Oh yeah,
terrible.
I've been by there about 1 billion times.
Yeah,
We-
I've only been there once, but that whole area got just steamrolled. It's unbelievable. They said that tornado was on the ground steady for like what, 200 or 300 miles?
250 miles is
Wow.
what I heard.
That's insane. And it was like
They
an
said
F3.
it's broke all records.
Yeah, well, broke a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
one of our good friends, Bob Casey.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob Casey's
Bob
aerials.
apparently lost some friends, and Bob said it was an evening he will never forget. Paul, can I? Oh,
Sure.
I can share.
Sure. Go right
This is
ahead.
actually pretty cool. If I can get it to work here. Oh, here we go. Let me know if this shows. Share screen. Right here.
Oh, drone
Oh,
shot.
wow.
Is this showing, guys?
Yep.
The
Yeah.
owls.
Yes.
This is when I used to go out and visit my brother, and this is at a place called Tanganyika Wildlife Park, and it's on my Facebook page. But this is some of the critters he used to have. This is Rena and Reba. I forget the two female white Bengal tigers.
Pretty.
Big kitties.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, to like Siegfried and Roy till they shred you.
And he
Yeah.
had a lot of he did a raptor rehab, everything from owls, eagles, hawks, falcons. But we used to take a lot of these birds to like elementary schools and stuff, and we used to take them into for like shows and stuff, and we'd fly the birds through the auditoriums and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty neat. We used to hand feed the giraffes. Notice I'm
Wow.
standing on this big rock. You know,
And he still had to bend down.
they still had to bend
Yeah.
down.
Well, they're hilarious. Giraffes are hilarious when you feed them. Their tongues. go
Look at how
down.
tall that tiger is.
That's one of the big males. He was about 600 pounds.
Yeah, it'll mess you up.
And look at, I'm reaching, look how high I'm reaching. He's still kind of towering over top of me. I was feeding
Wow.
them raw chicken bone or raw chicken. They need to eat chicken bones, even though like chicken bones, you would normally not feed your dog or cat
Yeah.
because they splinter. But raw chicken,
Only if they're cooked, Ron. Only if they're cooked.
right. But
Raw
you
ones
don't want your pets to eat the bones because they're sharp. But these cats needed these chicken bones for the calcium that helped to reduce what was the disease? Rickets. Keep them from getting rickets.
Well, there's a special diet for dogs, and it's called the raw diet.
Right.
And you do feed raw chicken with the bones.
Yeah.
Now, if you cook them, then the bones will splinter.
They
But
get
if it's raw
hardened,
chicken,
right?
they
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
This was the snow leopards. They used to go in there and play with. They loved chasing a broom.
Wow.
And there's one of his bald eagles I used to help train. Not many people can say they'd held a bald eagle in their hand.
That's
but
beautiful.
Cool.
She was pretty cool. This is his name is Salem. He was about a year and a half old snow leopard. He was just an unbelievable tame snow leopard. We used to go out and play kickball with him out in the yard, and yeah, he was pretty neat. This is a spotted leopard. They're from Afghanistan.
Aw.
They're extremely rare. They're known as the rarest cat in the world. Notice I was younger and had hair back then.
Big arms. Big old arms too, man.
Yeah. This is a baby white Bengal
Aw.
tiger. This is some of the tigers that we used to take to the Wichita Garden Show. Yeah, they were.
Are they
cool.
as soft as they look?
They are. They are. They're really cool. These are the ring-tailed lemurs from Madagascar.
That is so neat.
That is a 3-day-old giraffe.
3 days old. Look at that thing.
Look how
3
big it
days
is.
old. Yeah. Can you imagine? And I'm still reaching up to him or her. I can't remember which it was. Yeah, there's the one big male I was feeding.
Oh my
Look how
Lord.
big that cat is. Just unbelievable.
You would think they could climb those fences.
Yeah.
Probably can.
But anyhow, well, thanks
There
for-
was your helicopter in the background.
yeah, thanks for letting me share.
Yeah.
But,
Hey, I'm gonna share another picture of Lynn. Lynn used to like to do the float down here.
Oh,
And-
Jesus.
And so here's a picture of Lynn in her float down outfit.
Paul, Roy, you know better than that.
Paul Roy.
All right, he's in trouble now. Just add the Murray at the end, and he's really screwed.
Yeah.
Get all 3 names in there. You know you're in the doghouse.
That's because she
man.
knows that's what my mother used to yell at me.
Yeah, she did a lot.
Not a lot, little
she did
bit.
too.
I forgot most of the times my mom came after me with saying all 3 names coming after me.
Oh yeah, when you heard that, it's like, oh shit, time to run.
Run
That's
fast.
Paul's mother was really sweet and she was very soft spoken. And she was a lady 100% of the time.
Till Paul pissed her off.
She didn't really get pissed off, Chuck.
Oh yeah, she did. All moms get pissed off.
Paul's mom wasn't really like that.
In a loving way.
She
This
was
is gonna hurt
always-
you more than it's gonna hurt me.
No, she didn't get spankings.
My mom didn't either.
My mom tried to chase me around, like I usually outrun her. But dad would catch me though. Then it
Yeah,
done for.
I was good at outrunning mom too.
Not dad, not so
If
much.
you outrun my dad, it was 10 times worse.
Yeah, he'd
Better
take the
just
belt,
stand
take the
there
belt
and
with the
take
buckle
it.
out.
Oh, when you would hear that belt come out of those rings on his pants, you knew you was in trouble.
Yes, yes.
Whoosh.
Fraternity paddle.
Chuck, I remember a time that I forget what I did, but my mom was hell bent to beat my behind. And I begged her. I said, I have a baseball game. You can't do this now. And I convinced her.
He's so he talked her way out of it.
But I talked my way out of it, went to the ball game. We won the game. She bought me a snow cone, brought me home, and then said, I haven't forgotten. I'm like,
Beat your ass.
And an ass paddling.
That was a weekend
Yeah.
that I spent in Iraq.
Ah, those were our weekend tourists in the summer.
Yep, summertime, we get a lot of them.
you went
Terrible.
to Iraq, Paul?
No,
No, that's what happens here.
that's
all the
down by the
tourists.
bridge.
Oh, shit.
Is that a Phantom controller in your hands?
Inspire One.
That was an Inspire controller.
Yeah,
You go down there in the summer and he gets swamped.
Hmm.
oh yeah, they're talking. I don't know what the hell they're saying, but
That's why I go down separate in my golf cart. That way I can leave whenever I want.
they want to get their picture taken with the guy with the whirly thing.
Guy with the whirly
Uh,
thing.
hmm.
Nice. I don't think they're just whirly things. Pretty much everybody knows what they are now. Sadly, the Wild Wild West period is coming to an end.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. We haven't been talking much about remote ID. I'm not sure where things are at. with
Oh,
it.
I found another picture of Lynn.
Oh, Jesus, Paul.
I'm not going to talk about drones at all.
Boy.
Here we go. Are you guys ready for this one?
Maybe not.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that was Lenny.
That was when I was about 100 pounds.
And a helicopter pilot, huh?
Yep,
Yep.
that's what she was piloting. Yep.
Or a helicopter could go faster that way.
Yeah.
Not when you're all covered up.
Less unsprung weight.
Nobody knew it was a female till I took off my helmet. And
Oh, they
Lynn
knew.
could be the first name of a man or a woman. So on the manifest, they didn't know. Because it was only
Lynn
my
with an
middle
E
initial.
though. I thought Lynn without
Pardon
an E
me?
is a Lynn without an E can be a guy's name, but I know Lynn with
Right.
an E.
Lynn with an E is female, but most people don't realize that.
Ah,
See, my grandma was from Brighton, England, and she's the one that corrected my mother on the spelling when I was born.
yeah. My older sister's named Lynn with an E.
Yeah, that's the
Or-
female
or
version.
Linny.
Lyn or Lynn is male.
She was called Linny a lot of the time.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I hate that.
Well,
That's why I call her Lenny.
there you go.
My
Paul
sister's
calls me
Atta
name
boy,
is
Paul.
He's
My
called me
sister's
that
name-
since 57.
Yep, Lenny. That's
my
my Lenny.
sister's name is Lynette, and she likes to be called Lynn. Lyn.
Yeah.
Lynn, I think, forgive me for my ignorance, but I think I've said hello to you many times in the chat. I just never, I think maybe put two and two together.
That's okay.
Hey, Chuck, here's my first Inspire.
Oh, check that out. Your
See, that's
last
what
four,
Liz-
the the last four of your FAA number look like fake when you look at it fast. That's really cool.
It does.
FA3 FPA fake. I could remember that one easily.
See, that's what lives in Paul's dining room, guys.
That's
Nothing
why
but drones.
that's why I have a dining room table.
Are you still a
But
fake?
he has banquet tables set up in there too, which are also home to drones.
Hmm.
Oh, you got a cool FAA number. I'm jealous.
I'm gonna grab a glass of wine, guys. Be right back.
Okay. Yeah.
What are you doing with all these old pictures?
He's reminiscing.
Yeah. I'm just kind of like walking down memory lane, you know?
You weren't even there.
Well, how do you think I got them? You sent them to me. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, because when we were talking, you wanted to see what I did all those years I was gone.
Yeah. Yep. That's the excuse.
Pissing her off, Paul. Dave's
Here,
not giggling.
I'll show you this one with the
What the hell was that all about?
this is
Phone's
my
making a ruckus.
Inspire, and you can see the bridge in the background.
God, it's a big drone. I've only seen one in the wild once, and it was in
In the
Oregon.
wild.
Well, yeah. You like that? There were a couple of photographers that had shown up at a winery where Lori and I were in Oregon, and I was flying my Mavic 2 Pro around, and they bust that thing out. I just stopped in my tracks, brought my drone down, and went running over to see him. Lori's like, "Where are you going?" I said, "They have an Inspire 2. Check that out."
There
Went over and
it is,
talked to him. Yeah,
flying
it's a-
over the St. Clair River.
that is a freaking amazing aircraft right there.
Yes, it is.
It doesn't matter what he's flying. If he's down at the river, he draws a crowd.
In fact, this picture was taken by somebody else.
Well, yeah, I kind of figured. That's cool.
Paul, do you ever have any people give you any problems down at the
No,
waterway
because I
down?
wear my FAA credentials because I'm a 107 FAA pilot,
Okay.
and I have the credentials
vest?
that are plasticized and they clips on.
Right.
And you used to be able to tell if somebody was going to come and tell you something that they didn't know.
Mhm.
They get about 20 or 30 feet away from you, and all of a sudden they go to your badge and look.
They
Oh,
turn around, go the other way.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. Yep.
That's a great idea. So you wear your you mean your FAA card? You put it in a little.
No, I went online and I found a place. You could do that, but I went online and found a place where you can actually buy. You send them all your information, and it
Well,
comes like
make
this.
you a
It's
vest?
little clip-on thing, you know.
Oh, okay.
It's got FAA and
Wow, like a fake ID.
yeah.
Well, and he also has Interlake Steamship Company code that they sent to him because they use his drones in all their promotions for their advertisements for the Interlake Steamship Company. Paul
You just
Tagurtha.
gave me a really great idea. Now I got to see if I got a great idea now.
And so they sent him a coat, and he's got a DJI hat. So, he looks official when he goes down there.
I know, yeah, they exist. Okay. I got to get a safety vest that's customized. Put the big old Covaxion drone on the ass side of
There
it.
you
the
go.
Yeah,
right
you could do
side of it,
that.
And put my credentials on the front.
I
I'm
got a
super
safety
nerdy.
vest, but I'm so big I don't like to wear it because it just draws more attention to who's that great big fat man over there, you know?
Wear the hard hat. Put your logo on the hard hat. The whole.
You need a hard hat like Jennifer's got, Paul.
Paul, could I share a couple pictures with Lenny?
Sure. Yeah, this is Saturday night. Anything goes. I mean, Sunday night.
Oh, wow.
Lynn, this is the MD Explorer is from I don't know if you've ever heard of the company. They were originally called McDonnell Douglas.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they were bought out by a woman by the name of Lynn Tilton. And the
Yeah.
name has
McDonnell
changed.
Douglas, Sikorsky, all of that was during my time.
Yeah. This is what it's called, the MD 902. And there's a helicopter without a tail rotor. It
Yeah.
has
Wow.
what they call the
It's
it
got a
has the
fan,
notar system.
a fan in the
Exactly,
boot,
Paul.
and it,
Yep.
and it pushes the air, and you can steer which way the air is pushing it, right?
It has the veins on both
Exactly,
sides, right?
Paul. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the helicopter I used to fly back in Pennsylvania. Yeah, this is flying through Center City, Philadelphia.
That is so neat.
We had a fireworks display up by the hospital one day. We had a guy that was about 250 miles away. He was a model helicopter
There it
enthusiast,
was. Yeah.
and he came to our hospital one day, spent 6 hours in our hangar, and he wanted to build a helicopter identical to ours. He counted every rivet, everything identical, and he built a model helicopter identical to ours.
He couldn't duplicate the
Wow.
rotors though. He had to go with 2 rotors though.
No, he
Blades.
had 4. He had actually 5. Actually, believe it or not, there was actually.
Oh, really? You
hard to
can't see him in the picture.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't
Can't see him in
it.
the picture, but there was actually 5 rotors in that.
Oh,
This is
cool.
on top of. This is an old helicopter. This is the one I told you, Lynn, that we had the engine failure.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
in Center City, Philadelphia. We were actually featured in Rotor and Wing magazine at
Cool.
one point. Yeah, which was kind of cool.
We never had any flashy colors. We had all OD green.
This was I don't know if you guys, matter of fact, it was 10 years this October. One of the toughest calls I was ever on in a little town called Bart, Pennsylvania. It was the Amish schoolhouse shooting. It was national news. Where
Yes, I remember that.
a gunman come in and shot up a whole school.
Yeah, that
of-
woman's son did it.
Yep, yep. And
I remember
this
that.
was us. There were 5 helicopters that come into this accident scene. Yeah, this is our
They
hangar.
bulldozed that school.
They did, and they rebuilt it like a month later in a different location.
Yep.
This is my old boss and good friend of mine. Yeah. I miss this gal. She was one of my nurses I used to work with. She was awesome. But some couple guys I used to work with, and this is when on 9/11.
That's the
we were
Pentagon.
actually-
After
we
the
were
hit.
actually requested to bring medical supplies. We brought medical supplies to the Pentagon. And I remember this like it was yesterday. We were a quarter mile out, about 500 feet above the ground. And I just remember this view. And I took that picture with my phone. But we come in and landed in the front yard. of the
Parking lot.
Yeah. I've never.
Yep, where
never-
that hit was D-ring, right where my office used to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
My mom used to work at the Pentagon too.
Really, really, Dave. Wow.
Yeah,
It was,
yeah.
it's the day that it's
It's so
unforgettable.
big, I don't know where, but
Mhm.
she took me there one time.
One of
It
our
was
pilots,
huge.
he had a German Shepherd he used to bring to work every day. She loved coming to work. We dressed her up one day. We put her in a helicopter.
Oh, great. You guys are great.
This is when I was up in New York City. A short time, about 3 months after 9/11, we had an ambulance crew that met us up on Pier 36 or Pier 30. I forget which one it was. Yeah, we got a picture with them, but it's so weird flying up along the Hudson and not seeing the World Trade Center.
Yeah, I've got pictures
Yeah.
right here on the wall of me and Jennifer and my dad standing on the top of the World Trade Center, and I still have my ticket stub.
Yeah,
We
Don't
went up
see it
there
anymore.
in 85.
yeah. So weird.
Doesn't look right. Skyline doesn't look right.
Skyline's messed up. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
envious. You got all those nice colors.
Fashion colors.
here's
Yeah,
a
everything for us was OD green.
bunch of my buddies. We were all Masons, our Masonic group. And
Did you ever get to do any repelling out of those things, Rod?
no.
Ah,
Anyhow,
I
that-
taught the repelling.
let me see if I can get back out of this, Paul. There we go.
Okay,
Yeah,
Lynn,
I'm gonna find that.
just for you, Lynn, here you go.
Now, who is this?
Lynn, who's that?
That's Paul.
That's
Is that-
Paul?
Paul, you shed some pounds, brother. I kind of thought that was you.
And that was my gas powered. That was in 1984.
Wow.
I was in Italy then.
Look at the freaking dry. Is that a dry cell next to you, or those lantern battery things? That's how you
Yeah.
started it.
Yep. Yep. You had to get the glow plug going first, and then you had to fuel it up. Oh yeah.
Glow plugs.
Yep.
Oh man, those were awesome.
Like a diesel.
I loved glow plugs. No, I was like those 049 little freaking gas engines, the one piston in them.
Used to smell like gas.
Oh
Love
yeah, I
that.
remember those.
Love that stuff. I used to wait till I
Little
saved up
Cox
enough.
cars.
Yeah, I wait till I get enough allowance money to get another can of gas for those things.
Yeah.
That's what kept me working. Go back to this toy store and buy another can of gas and new glow plugs.
Yeah, I don't know how many yards I mowed to buy those things.
Oh, dude. Yeah, those were the days. I had a Cox helicopter, but the thing I tried, like, I think I returned every one they had in stock. They all leaked gas. None of them worked right. Every single one of them. I had like 4 of them. My mom said, "You give up yet?" No, one more. Yeah. I seriously brought 5 back and finally said, "Okay, it doesn't work." Anyway, it's a sad story. I think it was supposed to fly up like 100 feet and then just roto. Then it would like self roto back down. At least that's what it was supposed to do.
Was supposed to. Yeah.
Yeah, but the little gas tank in it, the little PVC line that went to the engine, which was just an I think it was an 020. It was a little one. It was an 049. It was like an 022 or something. Yeah, it's sick. That hose wouldn't seal. Just always leaked.
Yeah.
Dump gas all over the place. Fail.
Paul, here's another trip down memory lane.
Okay.
Here's actually one of my most, like, I consider my most famous photos. I was in Utah in Arches National Park. I was inside of a cave, and I was coming out of this cave, and I saw this pine tree, and like I just loved the view. And I posted on my Facebook page. Well, some guy from Belgium contacted me and asked me for permission to use my photo. He turned it into black and white, and then they used this photo as an advertisement. They were doing a play about some archaeologist that was lost in a cave or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but he put all this lettering and stuff in here. And here's when I met George Bush, and I was trying to get him out of the way. I was like, dude, I'm trying to get a picture of your daughter. She was cute.
Yeah, she was cute.
Yeah, his daughters were lookers, weren't they?
They were. Yeah.
They were very nice.
Yep. The Secret Service. And so I got to check out Marine One. And
Right, you got that close.
yeah. These are the guys that I talked to, the ones that hated Hillary Clinton. Yeah.
Let
Everybody
me tell
hates
you,
Hillary
everybody
Clinton.
that was there during that
Yeah.
time period hated Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is when I was doing SWAT down in DC. I trained down at the Department of Homeland Security. Great bunch of guys I work with down there. It was pretty cool. Anyhow,
That's neat.
You know, that just goes back. Lynn and I talk about this every once in a while. We remember things that we did in our past, but it seems like it was a lifetime ago, like it wasn't
It was another life ago.
another life.
yeah.
Yeah.
I look back
Couldn't
and
do it
think,
again
did
if
I
we had
really do
to.
that?
Mhm.
Did I take that chance? Did
Yeah.
I risk my life that way?
Mhm.
Well, yeah, there was nothing else to stop me from doing it at that time, you know?
Yeah.
Just go for it. Then things change as you get older and your life changes.
It does.
All I could think about when I'd go into precarious situations was Jennifer.
Hmm.
Am I going home to see her or not?
I love Google Photos, and I created a quite a array of albums in Facebook, and just I love every once in a while going back through and say, "Wow, I
I
remember
do that, but most of mine are private.
Yeah,
I don't have that many albums that are public. Most of them are private.
yeah. I don't think really anybody looks at them, but I go back and look at them, and it's fun for me.
Oh, I love to go back and look at how my kids grew up and my grandkids and now the great grandkids,
Mhm.
all the places I got to go. So neat.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she was queen of the Autobahn over there.
Autostrada.
Autostrada, okay.
Hmm.
Italy.
I took my Mustang over there.
She
Oh.
took her hot rod 5.0 Mustang over there.
What year was your Mustang, Lynn?
69
Oh,
or 79.
Ooh,
70.
okay.
79.
I had
Silver.
a 80. What the heck? What year was mine? 80.
I had the black louvers on the back window.
Okay.
She had a sunroof, and they used to all at the gas station, they'd look inside her car.
You don't dare put your window down just a little bit to hand out a gas ticket.
Yeah.
They'd swarm the car. They called it a Mustang.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
because I had to take the train from Desenzano down to Pisa to pick it up
Mm-hmm.
because it went from New Jersey. I had to take it to Bayonne and had to get the catalytic converter taken off, and then they put it on the ship, sent it
Right.
down to Pisa and down to Camp Darby, and I had to take the train down there to go get it and then bring it back.
Hmm.
But I had a ball with it.
Did you
Oh,
ship it
okay.
back, or did you just sell it over there?
No, I shipped it back because
Okay.
it took all day, because at that time they're worried about the snails in the country. So you had to steam wash underneath it, and it had to be inspected before they would accept it to go out on the ship.
Hmm.
My girlfriend Sue went with me. Oh my God, we probably spent 3 hours cleaning the underside of my Mustang.
Was that those zebra?
No, those were mussels. This was snails.
Oh, okay.
These were snails.
I just
And of course, the
remember
converter had to be, you have to have the
when we
converter
go-
in the back seat behind the driver's seat wrapped up in newspaper. Because if you didn't, they wouldn't ship it back. And then when you come back, you've got 90 days to have it put back on, or you get a ticket.
Really? Wow.
Yep. So I got into Bayonne. My ex-father-in-law took Jennifer and I to Bayonne to pick up the car. Then we went from there and drove here to Michigan and then to Illinois. And as soon as I got to Illinois, I had the converter put back on.
Hmm.
She
Wow.
was over there. I don't know if you heard the story or not, but when Chernobyl blew up.
Really? Wow.
Jennifer cannot have kids.
No kidding.
We
Wow.
got direct fallout. I was shoveling that crap.
Ugh.
Both of us have got radiation poisoning.
They shoveled that fallout like it was snow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really?
Unbelievable.
Wow.
We took a curtain rod and a dustpan, and we duct taped the dustpan to the curtain rod, and we shoveled it.
Wow.
For 3
Messed
months, we
up.
had no fresh meat, no dairy, no vegetables. We lived on Chef Boyardee in a can till we could get the hell out of there. We
Holy
came back
smokes.
on the 7th of June, 1986, flew back to the States. And then even on the way out at the airport in Milan, there was the bomb scare. And they ran us all back across the tarmac, back into the airport against the wall on our hands and knees. And then when they finally gave us the all clear, it was the worst thing in the world to try to walk across that tarmac to that plane. Worried to death we were going to get bombed or shot.
Wow.
Yeah, because
And
they,
when we
as
hit American
Americans,
airspace,
you had a target on your head, didn't you?
yep. And when we hit American airspace, everybody started crying and they were screaming and chanting. And when we stepped off at JFK, I got down on my hands and knees and kissed the ground.
I bet you did.
Yep.
Wow.
There's a lot of crap going on over there during that time. We bombed Gaddafi. That went on.
Wow, Lynn, you have been through some
Been through some shit.
Some shit.
I've still got pictures of the graffiti in Italy, and it said assassinate Reagan and Yankee go home. I got pictures of that. And
Hmm.
we had a communist mayor. Whenever there was a protest in the main piazza, our Italian neighbors told us, and we were not supposed to go downtown at all. And the thing was, I was not at a base. I was at a site. So we lived on the Italian economy. We didn't have the protection of a military base. So when stuff was going on, I mean, we had a period then where we had to dress like Italians. We could only speak Italian in public to cover up the fact that we were Americans.
Not Italian, but Italian.
Yep. Yep.
Couldn't let that one
And
go.
my
I'm sorry.
poor daughter
Huh.
had to have a bodyguard. She had a Carabinieri, which is like the elite FBI, carried a little white Uzi. He came to the house every morning with the bodyguard for my ex, because he had a bodyguard for him to go out to the site. And the bodyguard for Jennifer rode beside her on a contracted bus with blacked out windows to take her from Castiglione to Verona to school. And right down from the school where Jennifer went is where General Dozier was kidnapped by the terrorists.
Really?
Yep.
Lynn, can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
If you don't care to answer, that's okay. Do you, I know I do, find anything from your past that affects you today?
Oh, I have severe PTSD because of what happened to me.
When she was kidnapped and beaten and yeah.
I was held
When-
captive.
When
They gave me the chance to get out. They did. After I was released from the hospital, they gave me the option to take a discharge. All I could hear in my head was my dad. You finish what you start. So I declined the discharge and I stayed. I did not plan to stay as a career. It just turned into that. Because I always
When-
felt God's not going to give me any more than I can handle. He got me through that. Let's go.
I spent a week at 9/11. I went up for the recovery efforts, and
Oh, man.
about a month later is when one of the trips I went out to see my brother in Wichita, and I remember coming out of the terminal, coming onto the plane, and there were two guys that look, excuse the expression, like Arabic looking. They were sitting the first row behind first class, and I stopped dead in my tracks, and I started staring at them, and they both looked up. You know, at the time, I was a pretty big dude. I was, like I said, I'm about 6'1". I was about 240, 250. And I stopped dead in my tracks, and it was so obvious that I was staring at them. And there was people behind me trying to load up onto the plane. They're like, "Hey, buddy, come on, you gonna move or what?" And I stared at them. Next thing I know, I went through like almost like a blank phase. Next thing I know, I had like the 6'5", 250-pound National Guardsman.
Putting you in your seat.
They come up and grab me by the shoulder. And I don't know how long, I honestly don't know how long I was standing there.
You were frozen.
I was frozen.
Yeah.
And I looked at him square in the face, and somebody did tell me that I did say to them, if either one of them got out of their seat, they were as good as dead.
Oh, my.
And
Wow.
I don't remember saying that. But it was based on, I think it was based on what I had seen and observed.
When you were
We-
when you were working the pile, right?
Yeah. The last thing I saw, it was about 4 a.m. on my very last night. I'll never, ever forget this. Forgive this kind of a gruesome detail, but whenever they found a body, people kind of gathered, and we got this guy. He was kind of a big dude, and he, like I said, he had big arms on him, but his arms were just enormous, arms that I've never seen that size before. And it
Swelling?
exactly.
Yeah, you know what happens when you touch them.
Right. it took probably 4 hours to get the final debris off of him. And I will never forget this visuals to this day. It lingers in my mind, but his right hand was clenched. Okay. And when they got the last of the weight off of him and they're just getting ready to pull him out, and what they did was they would load bodies and they would run them down this ramp down around, it was down around Tower 1. I actually have a slide presentation of the whole week. But they had this ramp, make believe, not like make believe, but like an artificial ramp that they had built where they carried bodies down to this barge that went across the river, across the Port Authority and over. They had a morgue set up across the river
On the island.
But when they took that last bit of weight off this guy's arm, his hand was clenched like this, and all of a sudden it started to open up. It moved, and it opened up. And when it opened up, what we could see was a child's hand inside of his. That
Oh,
was the only
wow.
thing that was there. And where the rest of the child was, we don't know. But when I saw that, that was at 4 a.m. My shift was over at 7, and I left later that morning at 11 o'clock. I caught a plane back home. But I will never forget that. And I think that, I've been through a lot of shit in my career, in
Some
30
things just really hit you differently than others.
Yeah. And I think on top of that, it was about a month later, maybe it was 2 months, we were allowed to, like I said, when it took some time to be permitted to fly medevac missions.
Yeah, they had
And
to clear you.
we actually started, we used about, I'd say maybe twice a month, we would fly patients into New York City. And we'd either land at, it was either 30th Street. I'm trying to remember the other one. There were 2 helipads along the Hudson that you could come in and land. And when we would, because you couldn't land on hospital rooftops in New York, we would come in and land along the Hudson, and then an ambulance would come in and pick you up. And then they would take you to whatever hospital the patient was, due to go to. And I remember about a month later, we had come in, we brought a patient we took him up to Presby up in New York City, and the ambulance brought us back. And they called it, well, you're familiar with what they call an FBO. And the FBO, I want to say it was at 30th Street, but right there at 30th Street, you could see a clear view of the World Trade Centers. And I remember standing there, and the one guy that was refueling us was Arabic looking, and forgive me for sounding
Like you're profiling them?
like I'm profiling, but I probably am.
We
But
all were.
I said to
Pretty
him,
much.
I looked at him and I said, "Oh my God." I said, "I can't even believe the view that you guys had from right here at this heliport." And he had a smile on his face. He said, "Oh yeah." And he smiled. I'm sitting there thinking, "You rotten mother."
Yep.
And I wanted the instinct at me at that point. I wanted to, the only thing I could think was kill. I wanted to kill
Push
him.
him off the roof.
Yeah.
I wanted to push him right there in the river, right along into the Hudson, and I will never forget that. It was
Were
unbelievable.
you involved with Oklahoma City at all?
No, I did not get involved in that. I have been involved in 9/11 and Hurricane Katrina.
Mm.
The 2 things I was involved in. But that itself was, that was nasty. But yeah, 9/11 was that was a memory.
Lynn, you worked Oklahoma City, didn't you?
Yep, I did.
Wow.
Lost
there
4
after the fact.
co-workers in that one.
Did you really, Lynn? Wow.
Yep. They wanted volunteers. I was assigned to the field office in Indianapolis, and we got called in for a big meeting, and they wanted volunteers to go to Oklahoma City because we had an office in the McMurray building, and to keep, pick up the slack for those that were killed. And I raised my hand, and my boss jumped my ass and said, "You're not going. You volunteer for every friggin' thing." He says, "You've got a little girl at home." I says, "That's okay. She understands." And he said, "If somebody else doesn't raise their hand, I'm going to pick somebody." Well, I still got to go.
Really?
And 2 other people went, and we had to go pick up the slack, because jobs still got to be done.
Yeah.
So, yep, I went to that. And I did Waco.
You did Waco. Wow.
Jeez, you get
Yep.
around.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Wow.
And you worked on the Jeffrey Dahmer too, didn't you?
Yes, I did
Oh.
the Jeffrey Dahmer case and Ruby Ridge.
Ruby Ridge.
When I went to SWAT training in DC, the federal officers that taught the class, half of them were at Ruby Ridge, and they
Yep.
told us the whole story. And
It's not
Part-
what the public knows.
no,
That nothing ever is.
no, they use Ruby Ridge as a
Training thing.
exactly.
Yep.
They said this is what we did wrong.
Well, they do that with anything like that. They did that with Waco.
Right.
They did that with McMurray building, I mean, look at that. That was farm stuff that was used for that.
Wow.
And shows how easily that just using simple stuff can do so much damage.
Yeah.
Fertilizer, come on.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a course, Lynn, called Contoms. It was held through the Department of Homeland Security down in it's right outside of DC, but it was taught by the Department of Homeland Security and the Federal Park Police, and half the instructors in that class were at Ruby Ridge, and they told us stories that just were unbelievable. They said, "Hey, these are the mistakes we made. This is what we're telling you that."
We don't want to happen again.
Right.
Yep.
Wow. God, this is so interesting talking to you.
Anything
I could
that
talk
happens-
hours with you.
Anything that happens is
I'm gonna
used
go to
as a
bed
learning training device.
Yeah. Wow.
Lynn's been around. She's my hometown hero.
Phew.
I'm just
Indeed.
somebody that served. That's it.
Lynn, you are just wow.
No, I'm just somebody
Stories.
that served.
And you have, like I said, I just knew you as Lynn on Paul's chat. I have gained so much respect for you in this past hour and a half, 2 hours we've talked. And
Well, thank you.
yeah,
I appreciate that.
yeah.
I'm in the reruns.
Chuck's heard all this.
I had the
Chuck's
private
old shit,
story.
man.
I had the back behind the curtain stories.
You
all
want to
these-
watch something neat? Have you seen my dad's video, Ron?
No, huh?
That was brought up in the chat, Lynn. Did you see that? It
No,
was brought up in the chat.
I can't see the chat.
Oh, where'd it go?
Go to
Oh.
YouTube.
Lynn's
Ron.
having a hard time with an iPad. She can't figure out how to split the screen, see the
Where
chat,
is
and
it?
use the iPad.
I'd love to see you as a person, Lynn, if you know.
Nah, I don't look good anymore.
I tried that. I tried that
No, I
before.
don't either. But, you know.
She
No.
refused.
Go
Wow.
to YouTube and put in "sworn to return."
Or to return to YouTube.
All right.
And
The
it's
Bill, the Bill
it's a
Turner story.
documentary of her father. And you'll understand a little bit of who Lynn is by what her father was and all of the things that he instilled in her.
My dad was under Patton. He was at Battle of the Bulge. He has a
Really?
Purple Heart, a Silver Star, 3 Bronze Stars, and 23 other medals.
1 hour, 1 minute, and 51 seconds.
Yep. The Bill Turney story. That's my
I
father.
see it. Yeah.
Yep. It's worth watching because
It'll explain to you why I'm the way I am.
and what it was is for the entire time Lynn was growing up, and even when she went away in the service, her dad didn't want to talk about it. Then all of a sudden, Lynn got a call that he thought it was time to talk about it.
He took it was 70 years before Daddy could tell his story.
Yep. And so Lynn arranged for a film crew to come in and document the whole thing.
Oh,
Very
and then
cool.
at the end of the film, you'll see a picture of me. And that picture was when I was still with DIS. I'm wearing a red sweater. So then you can see what I used to look like.
Oh, this mystery.
The Bill Turney story.
Yep, that's my dad. That was my dad. He passed.
Lenny
Yeah.
was Lenny
Um,
Turney. Yes.
I'll
I
throw
was
it in the
Lynn.
chat. Here it is.
Lynn
Here.
Ann Turney, which was my maiden name. And I kept Turney because everybody here knows me as Turney. Everybody in the military knew me as Zelensky. And after my divorce, my daughter asked me not to change my name because the other kids at school get made fun of when their parents' names aren't the same. And I figured I'd had that name for 22 years. So what the hell? So I just kept it. So everybody knew me with all the names.
But now she goes with a hyphen. Lynn Turney Zelensky.
Because all my military contacts and my government contract people know me as Zelensky, where everybody here in my hometown. And see, I was gone from here for 42 years. So when I come back and said Lynn Zelensky, nobody knew who the hell I was. And I said Lynn Turney, then they knew who I was.
You can buy a Chevrolet with your initials on it if you buy an LTZ.
Oh, really?
But her father, besides being a hero, he was the kind of guy everybody knew Bill Turney in town.
Yep, everybody knew my dad, and he never met a stranger, and he was so personable, nicest guy he would do anything in the world for you.
But
Well, I
at
threw the
nighttime,
linky to the video in the chat.
at nighttime, it changed because he did night terrors and all kinds of stuff because of the.
He had severe PTSD. He fought that war every single night.
Wow. Wow.
Yep. And then he died, what, a year? And
A
so
year or
many
so
months-
after he told the story.
Yeah, April of 2019, I lost my dad. It's just a month short of being 93. And he's the reason I came home after 42 years. And then I decided, my story started here. This is where it's going to end. So I'm here and I don't have any family here. My kids are
Lori's
all over
dad
the
must have
place.
been. My wife's dad must have been about the same age as your dad because he passed in
Kokomo.
2008. He was like 83, 84.
My dad was going to be 93.
He was in World War II.
That's where daddy
Navy.
was.
He was in the Navy.
Dad was Army.
Yeah. Wild. It's a better generation. That's all I can say.
Well, when you watch my dad's video and listen to what happened, there's a big lesson there. And unfortunately, our country is walking right back into the same bullshit that we were in World War II. Oh, and he was the second one through the gate at Auschwitz, Ron.
Mhm.
He liberated 2 concentration camps.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
Yep, and he tells the stories in there, and they actually, the film crew went back and found documented
Video.
film from back then.
They
'Cause
did a good job on it.
Yeah, he talked about how skinny they were, and some of them were actually hanging on the barbed wire trying to escape, and they just left them hanging there.
Mm.
But you stop and think, those people went, like our dads went, they were 16, 17, 18 years old. They were kids.
Yep.
And you look at the kids today, oh my God, it's pathetic.
Yeah. Yeah. You
They
think?
couldn't hit their
Worse
ass
than
with both
pathetic.
hands. They couldn't hit their ass with both hands.
Dave, were you ever in the military yourself?
No, I've been disabled since I was born, and they don't let me. I tried, and they told me no. I couldn't serve. So
Okay.
But when I first went, I didn't weigh enough. I was only 90 pounds and they wouldn't take me till I hit 100.
Really?
So I had to wait to gain that 10 pounds before I could go to basic.
You just drink a lot of beer. What'd you do?
Ate a lot of bananas. I had to continue that through basic because every Monday morning was weigh in.
They check
So
your weight.
everybody in the chow hall would give me all their bananas and that's what I chomped down on before weigh in.
And the way they worked in, through the physical agility, then you had to probably eat like cow.
You do. You got to eat
Oh.
100 miles an hour.
Mm. Paul, this has been the best live stream I've ever been on with you. This is like so cool.
Well, thanks, Ron. Well, the thing of it is like I get a lot of people that might complain because I don't talk drones all the time. I fly. All
Yeah,
the
we're not talking drones all the time.
but
I'm
but
kidding. It's fine. This is fine. I'm kidding.
This is life. This is what goes on behind the scenes of everybody. It's like Chuck. He's got things that goes on. It's like you do. Lynn does. Even Dave. Even though Dave's kind of almost on the disabled list a little bit, he's got memories from long past that you
Before
know.
our bodies turned on us.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I look.
Well, I was born in 1960. So I've got stories from about 64, 65, all
I'd
the
say
way
yeah.
up
Once you
to
get about 3
today.
or 4, stuff starts to stick.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Chuck, try 1951.
Yep. She was born in 51. I was born in 52.
Wow.
And I never thought I'd live this long. I thought I'd be dead a long time ago.
You know, in my career too, also, I never thought I would live this long. I mean, I've been shot at, I was stabbed on the job. Yeah, never thought.
Those
Yeah.
are the souvenirs they give us, Ron. It's like I've got Crohn's from Italy, and I have MS, and I have diverticulitis and diverticulosis. I've had a mild heart attack.
You've got Agent Orange from Vietnam.
I've got Agent Orange, got radiation poisoning. And
Hmm.
every day I thank the Lord for waking me up every day. It may not be the
Yeah.
best day, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
She still has to go to the VA hospital periodically. She's got a file that must be about that thick by now.
Oh, it's bigger than that. Because they've been taking care of me since 1970.
Really?
Military has. Military and the VA combined.
Yeah.
Yep, I
I've
take
been,
my motor home and I go to the VA up in Saginaw. Spend 2-3 days up there.
Yeah, it's about 2-hour drive, 2.5
No,
hours.
it's 2.5 in the car and it's 3 in the motorhome.
Okay.
Oh. I remember the guy that stabbed me in it was a city called Chester, Pennsylvania. If you Google Chester, Pennsylvania, if you Google Chester, PA, and crime rate, you'll see that it has the highest crime rate in Pennsylvania. I had a guy, we were trying to get upstairs to a third floor to
Well, they're down 58%, Ron.
they're down.
This is crime stats. Homicides down 58% in Chester, PA.
Really?
COVID's fixing the problem.
So,
I'm sorry for that interruption. I had to
no,
Google
that
it when you
was
said that. It came up like the Channel 6 Action News was talking
no
about it.
kidding.
No
Yeah.
kidding, man.
Sure as hell wasn't like that about 10 years ago.
This is from August of this year,
Um,
anyway. Here, I'll
Yeah, I had a guy,
throw it in
we were
the
trying to
chat.
get upstairs to a third floor to a woman that she was obviously couldn't get down, and guy, we had to break in a door, and he was pissed. He came out with my God, this thing was freaking in my eyes, it was a 6-foot screwdriver.
Mm.
Yeah, come out and he stabbed me in the chest, and my bulletproof
Jesus.
vest saved me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The funny
Chester,
thing was-
Pennsylvania, city notoriously known for residents being held hostage by violence, is now feeling a little bit safer.
No kidding. Wow.
It's been a ton of arrests and ton of guns off the street. Blah 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 blah. I know they talk about it. It's like a big
Hey,
success story.
Ron, my question is that guy still with us, or did you put him lights out?
Did you
that
finish him off?
Well, he has a few scars. What happened? Here's the funny thing of that story was when we were trying to break down the door, I had a female partner that was about Lenny's size. She was about 90 pounds. And we couldn't get through the door. And I tried to gently do it 3 times. And she looked at me. She was, Ron, do
Move.
you want me to do that? I'm like, oh, no. I'm sitting there thinking a 90-pound woman, my manhood was like on,
You're on challenge.
yes.
Mm.
I'm like, no, I'll take care of it. So the 4th try, I waffled this door. And when
Hurt yourself?
No, I busted the door jambs. The ceiling tile fell in. I mean, I destroyed the whole front entry of this building. And this guy came out and he goes, "You mother," blah, blah, blah. And I said, "Shut the hell up. Get back in your room." It was a single or two apartments on the bottom, one in the middle, two apartments on the third. And I got halfway up the steps. Well, he went back in his room. Well, he came back out. He goes, "I'll effing," he came out with a screwdriver. While my partner, Christy, I said, Lenny was about your size. She's about 90 pounds. And I remember the automatic reaction. I turned around and I pushed her back. Well, I pushed her. She fell down the steps. She broke her ankle. And I went up with a flashlight and tried to deflect this guy's screwdriver. And I wasn't fast enough. And he came down and he hit me dead center in the middle of the chest. And it hurt so bad. I mean,
Knocks the wind out of you.
oh my God, I can't remember how bad it hurt. Oh God, it hurt. And I'm like, the instant reaction for me was he just stabbed me in the chest. So back in the old days of police and EMS, we carried a flashlight that had, it was either 6 or 8 cell. It was the
D
The
cell.
mag light. That was the great big mag
Yeah,
light.
The big D cells. I've got one in my car.
Those
Yeah,
things-
I had the mag light with
massive.
3 cells. That's pretty big. You had the one with 6. That's awesome.
and I hit this guy about 4 times across the head.
Club.
And I put about a 6-inch gap across the side of his forehead.
Split him
there.
right open.
And he fell down the steps down beside Christy. And I said, "Are you okay?" I looked at her. I said, "You okay?" She goes, "Yeah, just go up there and get Monica." Monica was this patient that we've had like 19 million times. I go upstairs to Monica and she's up her gasping for breath. And I remember being up there and she looks at me and she goes, "Young man, are you okay?" I'm like, "Why do you ask?" She goes, "You're breathing kind of hard." I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah." And I remember I looked down, I opened up my vest and I'm like, "I don't see any blood." I'm like, but I saw this big indentation in my chest.
Ouch.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And we had our portable radios, our police radios that we had a distress button on there specifically for emergencies. And I remember hitting this button. The county fire board come on the radio and they said, 82.7, do you have a priority? I said, affirmative. I said, I have a flashlight versus a screwdriver. I need you to expedite the PD. And there was this pause on the radio transmission. And they said, PD's en route. So it was about a minute later, all these cop cars pulled up in front of this apartment building. And this one cop got out. I remember this guy to this day. His name was Tiny. Tiny was about 370.
I was gonna say, you say tiny, and we already know where this is going.
Tiny was not tiny.
Yeah.
He was about 375, about 5'5", maybe. This guy,
Refrigerator.
exactly. If you even thought of outrunning him in a short race, forget it. This man was so fast. Now in the long distance, you're good.
Short distance.
He was unbelievably fast. Tiny shows up. He goes, Ron, what the hell did you do? I'm like, it's laying at the bottom of the steps. He goes, I saw that. What do you want us to do with him? And I said, make sure he's not in the way on the way out so we don't trip on him. Then my supervisor shows up and oh God, what a mess that night. Oh God.
Did you ever get checked out for your chest?
Yeah.
Have a bruise?
It was just some intercostal muscles that got damaged, but I actually didn't have a puncture wound, but I'll tell you what, it hurt.
Thank God for that bulletproof vest.
That's what saved me.
What do you?
Yep.
Freaking screwdriver.
Wow.
It was like a diesel mechanic screwdriver, but he came down and he wailed me. Yeah.
Well, obviously you wailed back.
Flashlight
I like
hurt.
the flashlight hit. I like the
Yeah.
6 cell flashlight, man. It's like a club. That's awesome.
Yep.
Those
Oh,
things
yeah.
were nasty. Oh my God.
For a long time, they were sending out police officers with EMTs
Yeah.
because
Yep.
they were being assaulted, or a lot of times they were just lured in, and it was all a setup. So they
Mm.
had to be accompanied.
The days of Chester, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you know, when we sit around and
Remind me
talk,
not
I'm
to go
sure,
there.
I'm sure that there's other things in your past you're going to think about, and it's kind of like a trigger, you know.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, that's been going on.
I don't have any stabbings in my past, though.
Well, be thankful.
Mhm. I've had a couple skeletons, so to speak, in my closet. Wow.
Well, I,
They
I
don't-
think
well-
I think I told you guys the story about riding with the ambulance. We got called up to it was a mobile home park, a trailer park, you know, type of thing.
Mhm.
And there was some, they called them the Triplet Brothers. The one was, he was whacked out on something or whatever. He was actually running through the sidewalls of people's trailers, through the trailer, and hit the other sidewall, come out again, and then go. And he was about 6 trailers down by the time the police and us got there. The police had him down on the ground, and we put him in on the stretcher. He was handcuffed and strapped across, of course, across on the gurney, and loaded in the back. And I was riding in the back with him, and all of a sudden he went berserk again and somehow managed to wiggle out of those straps. And we were fighting in the back. It was a high top Cadillac. We were struggling in the back, and I don't know if you remember the old high tops, but they used to have a handle on the inside where you used to be able to pull it and open that big door up.
Yeah.
We were doing about 65 miles an hour on a 5-lane highway heading for the hospital. And we called ahead, and there was plenty of people waiting for us. And he'd struggle, and he and I were wrestling in the back of the ambulance. And I reached over and grabbed a great big sandbag, you know, I used to put on each side of the neck.
Yeah, remember those? Yeah, the old
I
sand.
was beating the hell out of him with that. And he had got that back door open, and he was pushing me out the back while we're doing 65 miles an hour. And finally, I grabbed something bigger, like the 10-pound bag, and I just banged him, and he went up against the side. And at that time, the ambulance swung around and went into the hospital, and they jumped on him and took him away.
I had a partner once that ex-Marine. I guess he was like a Golden Glove boxer, big black dude, nicest guy, smooth dude. He was like smooth with the ladies and always smoked a pipe, but he was nobody to piss with. One day, we were coming across the Commodore Barry Bridge, coming out of Jersey. We used to bring patients out of Jersey into Chester, which was a big trauma center. And this guy called him the N-word. And I'm driving. And all I hear, sudden I hear, Lockwood, stop the bus. What? Stop the effing bus. So I stopped the bus. All of a sudden the back doors come open. He grabs this guy off the stretcher, pulls him out on the street, on the bridge, beat him within an inch of his life, pulls him back in, throws him on the stretcher, and he said, "You can go now." I'm like, are you sure?
Okay.
Yes, go to the hospital. Okay. I was up there driving. Oh my God, the stories. Paul, I'm sure you, with
Oh,
your
yeah.
years in
Yeah.
EMS, you could
Yeah.
you can pull some stories.
Well, I went to one where, you know, you get the mental cases, right? And there's usually
Oh, yeah.
always in the middle of the night. And we go to a house, and the cops are there, and they says, "Yeah, we got a problem with this lady," right? And so we approach, and of course we're wearing the medic outfit, you know, and she says, "The devil's here. You guys are the devil." And I said, no, you're trying to calm her down. The guy I'm with says, "Yeah, I'm the devil. I'm here to get you." She went absolutely crazy. It took like 5 of us to wrestle her around and get her to the back of the ambulance. I said, Bill, don't you ever do that again.
Partner like that once we were in attempted suicide. Guy was up on top of a 4-story building, and his dad, my partner, his dad was a psychologist.
Uh-huh.
Like, well, I'll use some of my dad's techniques. He tried reverse psychology.
Yeah.
He said, well, go ahead and jump. Death's your only friend. The guy did. He jumped.
Oh.
Oh,
He's like, oh shit.
I mean, that's not funny, but
It is funny.
it's paramedic ambulance humor, you know?
Yep. Yeah. Oh my
Gotta
God.
laugh at it.
It is. It was funny as shit, Dave. Oh my God. You know, there's a guy, Paul, you might remember him. His name was James O. Page. He was the publisher of Gems magazine.
Yep.
He was a paramedic firefighter in LA, and he wrote a book called The Magic of 3 a.m.
Yep.
Do you remember him?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the premise of his book was all of the bad things of life seem to happen between, I think he said like 2:30 and about 6 a.m. That's
Yep, exactly. Yep. Yeah. I met him one day. He did a conference. Where the hell was that? I was at a conference once where he held, and he ended up being an EMS lawyer, and then he was the publisher of Gems magazine.
oh, okay.
Interesting guy. Oh my God. Yeah. But wow.
So Chuck, tell us some of your stories or you don't want to share.
I don't have any good stuff.
Oh,
Oh,
lead a
come
boring-
on.
I lead a boring
Come on,
life.
Chuck.
we know there's something lurking in because we can tell when we tell a story, your eyes kind of like you turn your head and go,
Gotta be some dark secrets there, Chuck. Come on, brother.
I'm gonna go to bed soon.
yeah,
My most
Wait
exciting
up
moment was
until
September
Friday.
7th of this year. You guys all heard about that crap.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah, you
Ron,
heard
did
enough
you
about
see
that
his
one.
did you see his pictures of his accident?
No.
Oh, his poor truck.
Screw that truck. I
Some
got a
lady
shiny new
decided
one.
she didn't need to stop at a 4-way stop, and it was his turn to pull out, and he pulled out, and he rolled that truck over. How many times did it roll over your
No,
truck?
it only went over one. It went
was
just
a full-size
180 degrees.
truck.
No,
Full-size.
it's a Colorado, but
Colorado.
a Tahoe nailed me.
Yep.
Show him the pictures.
How do I share them? How do I find them?
Well, surely you kept them.
Well, yeah, but finding stuff
He
on
was
here.
pretty upset, Ron.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
on.
he was on that
He
night.
loved his truck.
I love my new one more though.
That's good.
My new one's more awesome.
You can't miss it.
Well, that's. I
a
hope
unique
that's not
color.
true.
It's a unique color.
It's Crush.
Yes,
It's
it is
what they did to my
definitely
last
Crush.
one. It's what they did to
Hey,
my last one.
I'll tell you. While you're looking for those photos, I'll tell you another funny story of Lynn, because we live on the water, right? We have some friends that have like a 40-foot
Oh,
sea ray that Lynn decided she was going to go with them up. You come out of the Black River, you come up the St. Clair River. You've seen where the ships all curve. That's the Black River out there. You go up underneath the bridge and you go out and you anchor off of Lakeside Beach and for the day, you know. There's
You party and have a good time.
party. There's a whole bunch of other boaters out there and everything. And they're coming up and heading out to the lake. And you always go over on the Canadian side because the
calmer.
river comes down and curves like this. So that the over on the American side, it's a little rougher. The Canadian side is flat and smooth because of the water doing this and going up and then back around. So Lynn's government phone goes off because she's issued a government phone so they can track her. Her government phone goes off, and you take the story from there, Lynn.
No, you go ahead and tell it.
Her government phone goes off, she answers it, and there's a bunch of guys on the other line saying, you haven't authorized, you're not authorized to leave the country. because she was in Canada. And she says, don't you guys, what'd you say? Don't you guys have anything better to do? And they said, and all of a sudden they says, and that's a pretty nice boat you're on right there. She turned around and flipped them off. They were watching her on a satellite. They tasked a satellite to see what the hell she was doing.
Oh shit.
She flipped them off, and they
Good
said,
job.
and they said, that isn't very nice, Lynn.
Good.
And she
I
told
love
them,
that
don't you guys
story.
have anything better to do?
But thankfully, I don't have to have that phone anymore.
Yeah, so she turned after a period of time. The reason she had the phone even after she retired, Ron, is anything major, like she put away some big time players and different things. And they'd have to be able to track her and talk to her and warn her, of any imminent danger. Cause
You get a letter in the mail.
she used to get a lot of threats.
Really?
Oh, hell yes. Women are easy targets. Don't you know that?
Yep.
Everyone that goes out of the courtroom after their sentence turns around and threatens you.
That's easy to do.
But yeah, they had the satellite and they were looking down at her. She was staying on the back of this big boat going up the river.
Wow.
Watching her. I did find the
Now,
pictures.
once my disability went to 100%,
Good.
that's when they took the phone back.
Oh, there you go.
There it is.
Oh shit, Chuck.
Yeah, she hit me obviously on the driver's side.
Yeah, I see that.
I made it through the intersection, then she nailed me. I was already deep into the intersection when she nailed me. I mean, they said she was doing about 60 or 70, so she was moving.
Wow.
And that dude, talk about you guys, the EMTs, man. That dude was awesome.
MR ambulance, yeah. I'm
Yep.
familiar with them.
Patched me up because I kicked out the windshield down.
They gave him a
Um,
free razor ride.
Yeah, I kicked out the windshield and I laid down. I rolled over, laid on my belly, and stuck my feet out. And then
They
started
pulled him out, but he was laying on glass.
on glass. Yeah, that was messy. But I don't know if I have any more. Let's see. That's my 25,000
You had a whole
views.
you had a whole bunch of pictures.
Yeah, there's the Tahoe that hit me.
Oh,
And then
Full
when
size.
it got deflected off of me and pushed into that Kia
Another
right
car.
there.
Yep.
Yeah. That was after I was already climbing in the thing to get my stuff out after I was all bandaged up.
what was the issue, Chuck? Was she drunk or just wasn't paying attention or?
The witness said she never even slowed down, never lifted off the gas, just hauling ass and drove right through me like I wasn't there.
Really?
Apparently, Ron, she was the only one driving on the road that day.
Yeah.
And
Really?
yeah, it's all about her. But at least I didn't
No
hit that
one
telephone
else
pole.
existed.
At
Yeah.
least I didn't get that pole.
You
So,
didn't
Thank
roll.
God.
Yep.
If it had been me, I'd have got a lawyer.
I tried. They don't want to do anything. I'm not worth enough. But I think that's the new one. So I'm not
That's
totally
the
sad.
replacement truck.
That's the replacement. Yeah.
Well, you can't miss the Orange Crush.
Yeah.
No.
Hmm.
Anyway, that's yeah, she had the size advantage. But I'm still here, man. I'm still here. There was shit everywhere in that truck. Every compartment opened up, stuff dumped everywhere. I found my freaking wireless go-to little pocket thing. I lost it in the truck. I couldn't find it. Well, that helped me find it. So,
Wow.
where did we go here? Did I
You have to stop share up top.
Was your wife with you, Chuck?
No, thank God.
No.
You going to get her, weren't you?
Yeah, I was on my way to get
You had
it.
to call
I
and tell her
lost
he'd
it,
be late.
Paul. Meeting controls.
Up at the very top of the screen, there should be.
Oh, duh.
Stop share. Yeah.
Duh. Okay. No, I was on my way to get my wife. In fact, I was like 2 blocks away from her. I was so damn close. And
Well, it's a good thing she wasn't in the truck.
that passenger side was pushed in, man. The door panel on the passenger side came in about 3 inches past the glove box.
Woo.
I think that I had to get that glove box open at the body shop where they dragged it to. And the guy gave me a pry bar, like almost as long as I am tall, and I got in there, and I'm trying to open it. I'm like, "Ugh," and then I started thinking about the asshole that hit me, and then it just popped right open. Pretended it was her skull, and it opened right up. It was amazing how that worked. But yeah, it was a good lick. I was sore for a while, but I didn't think, the airbags. I never thought I'd say yay to airbags, but holy shit.
How you live through it.
Wasn't your time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody's looking, just like the rest of us. Somebody was
Yep.
looking out for me that day.
That's right.
I think we've all been through that accident. Well, 2 years ago, I was in that accident. And it's weird, when you're in a situation like that. I was called by my boss, said, "Hey, we have a overnight flight. Don't come in early, take your time, but just letting you know, you're going to Washington, D.C. from North Dakota." Okay. So he woke me up. He forgot he's in Central. I'm in Mountain Time.
Okay, yeah.
Got me up an hour early. Like, well, I'm up. So I get up.
Might as well
I drank
get up
my
and
coffee.
go.
Yeah.
I get up, showered. I'm like, so I went to leave, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm an hour early. Not in a hurry. This is 2 years ago in October, and I got 5 miles from my house. Checked the weather. Roads are dry. No weather. No problems. Hit black ice on a bridge, and I went sideways. I was on the interstate 5 miles from my house, and there was interstate construction. So all the eastbound traffic was all diverted into the westbound 2 lanes.
So it was 2 lanes, yeah.
So I went sideways. I'm like, oh shit. And when I started to go, I looked and I saw this 18-wheeler coming. I'm like, oh F, and it's amazing in a matter of, I don't know, 1 to 3 seconds at the max, the amount of things that go through your mind.
It's adrenaline. I'm convinced it's adrenaline, Gron, because I want to see it. I wish to God I had a video of my truck getting struck and rolling, because it felt like forever. And I think that's because adrenaline gets you going 1,000 miles an hour. You're like a high frame camera. So everything seems slow. And I think that's fight or flight. That's fight or flight, man. That's like you can react.
And immediately you don't feel the pain.
No, you don't feel any pain until after the adrenaline drops, and then it's hell.
And I just remember the weirdest things going through my mind. And one of the things was, I'm not going to survive this. One of the things that went through my mind. The second thing was, you know what? It's not been a bad life. It's, it could have been better, could have been worse, but it's not been a bad life. And I'm like, and all of a sudden, the last thing I said, and I yelled it out loud. I said, I'm done. I'm accepting death, because I knew when that truck hit me, there was no way I was surviving it. And I just yelled out, I said, I'm done. And all of a sudden my truck whipped to the right. And as I'm whipping to the right, I looked out of the corner of my left eye.
The truck goes zinging by you.
And I see the lug nuts of his big front
wheels,
like 6 inches from me. I'm like, oh my God. And I hit this bridge. And when I hit, I'm like, shit, I'm alive, I think. I wasn't sure.
That's how I was when I got rolled, but I didn't see it coming. I didn't see her coming.
Mm-mm.
And when she struck, because I was already almost through the intersection, so I'm just looking straight ahead, and then you can't see anything because the curtain bags come down, and then the truck starts.
The good part, Chuck, is you were not tensed up, so you didn't see it coming. If you'd have been tensed up, you would have been.
Yeah, it would have been a mess. It would have been a hot mess.
Right.
I know. Right. So that was good. But
when Ron, when you hit the bridge, what happened?
Yeah, what happened when you hit the bridge?
And
because that's a movable.
And I'm like, when I realized, like, I think I'm alive. I think I really did think that.
So you kind of like you like slid against the bridge, kind of like on the
Oh,
guardrail and
I hit the
everything.
bridge hard.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I did not feel any pain. And I'm like, I look to my behind me. I'm like, oh shit, I'm still on this icy bridge. I got to get the hell out of here. So I started the truck and I'm like, oh my God, it started back up. Maybe it
Really?
wasn't as bad as I thought. I started it up and I hit reverse. It went reverse. I come back and I went to turn my wheel. I had no steering. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. And then I hit the gas kind of a little bit hard. Well, it was slippery enough where the vehicle kind of, the back end slid around.
Yeah. You just
Now
kind of
I'm
rode along.
parallel with the road again.
So it just kind of slid along like you pushed it like a sled.
Yeah. And I moved about 20 yards beyond the bridge. I'm like, yeah, there's more 18 wheelers coming behind me. I got to get the hell out of here. I opened up my door in a fast response and I stepped out, went right to the ground. Not on slippery ice. My right leg gave out. I'm like, oh shit, I just broke my femur. So I crawled on my hands and knees and I crawled to the railing and I dove over the railing. I was tumbling. I'm in snow, 15 below zero
A broken leg.
with a broken leg. What I
This
thought
story's
was
way more interesting than mine.
yeah.
See what I mean? I'm not telling stories anymore because I got nothing.
Doc, you're still young. You got a lot of living to do.
Oh,
You
you
don't know
got a
what's
lot of
going to happen.
everybody.
So how did you get, what happened
Yeah,
when you
so-
rolled down the hill?
Right.
I rolled down the hill. I rolled into a creek. Now I'm soaking wet.
Oh,
I'm like,
This
man,
story keeps getting better
that'll
and
keep the
better.
swelling down.
I crawled out of the
Keep the
creek.
swelling down, listen to
I thought it
Lynn.
would have been frozen, but it wasn't.
Hmm.
And I got up on the embankment. This truck, this 18 wheeler, went whizzing by my truck. He's swaying, sliding all over the place. And I got about 30, 40 yards up above my truck. I'm like, oh, okay, I think I'm safe. And thank God I have my cell phone in my pocket. And I called 911. I told my situation. And it took like 45, keep in mind where I'm at in rural South Dakota.
And it's freezing.
45 minutes for the sheriff to get there. I'm laying up, I'm freezing my ass.
You're
off.
wet and in snow.
God.
Yep.
Hypothermia.
Hypothermia. The cop gets there. He finally shows up. And I see him down there at my truck. He's with the flashlight,
Looking around.
looking around. And I said, hey, I'm up here. He goes, well, come down here, sir. I'm like, no, you come up here. Sir, please come down here. I'm like, excuse the expression. I said, fuck you. You need to come up here. Sir, you need to calm down. No, you need to come up here. Come down to my patrol car. And I yelled out, F you again. I said, you think I'm coming to your patrol car? You're an idiot. He parked right beside my pickup. And he eventually walked up the embankment like 40, 50 yards. And I said, if you think I'm coming down your patrol car, you're an idiot. I said, I'm hurt. I'm cold. I'm pissed off. I destroyed my truck. I'm not coming down to you. I said, you want my stuff? Go above the driver's or the passenger side visor. All my information is there. I ain't coming down there. And I said, if you think I'm drinking tonight, don't even go that direction. I'm on my way to work. I'm an off-duty paramedic, and I'm on my way to work. And again, I'm going to remind you, I'm pissed off and I'm hurt. And he was like, sir, calm down. So it took another 45 minutes from there to get the we call it the flatbed to come and get my truck.
Didn't they
Well,
call
there
a
I
dust
was.
off for you?
Pardon me?
Didn't they call a dust off for you?
No.
Oh, Jesus.
So I called everybody that I could think of to come and like, can you please take me? I'm 5 miles from home. Nobody could come get me. So I finally, I went kind of slid down the road, the hill. I said, sir, can you help me in your patrol car? Can you
The
take?
broken leg. They just leave you there?
He actually took me home, and I refused. I was a dumbass, typical medical provider. But I said, just
You
take me home.
refused to go to the hospital.
I said, can you please take me home? I don't know if my leg's broke, but I don't think. But please take me home.
That's what I did too. My sister-in-law picked me up with my wife.
Yeah.
And I declined, care too. Just like I just
You
wanna go
heard
home.
about that though, Chuck. We let you know you should have gone.
The cop
Oh.
told me too. He said, you've been an asshole, but I'll take you home.
Yeah, well, if I'd gone to the hospital,
I didn't.
what would have been different?
My leg
Hey,
wasn't
guys.
broke.
I gotta go. I'll
Okay,
talk to
Dave.
you all
We'll see you,
later.
buddy.
Hey,
Good
Dave.
night,
Okay.
Dave.
So,
Bye-bye.
Ron, your leg was broken.
It was not
Oh,
severely bruised. But yeah, I had a black and blue mark. It was, oh God, it was huge.
that sounds like Lynn when she did the nosedive down the basement steps.
Yeah.
Oh,
I did that on the 1st of October.
I had a good bruise. I think when my seatbelt slipped down, my shoulder belt slipped down. 'Cause, it was this way. I think it was all
Yep,
my
I went from the
bicep was
top-
all bruised.
All the way to the bottom. And was all different shades of purple like you wouldn't believe.
Ooh, ouch.
yeah.
Well, they're still trying to find out if my meniscus is torn.
It's like you did a Homer Simpson down your steps.
Boy, did it down the basement steps.
Is that the
right in the basement.
skateboard one we tried to jump the canyon? Don't
Don't,
kept smashing his
don't,
head into
don't,
like the thing, just swinging back and forth. Don't. That's one of the best episodes ever. I couldn't stop laughing for like 10 minutes. So that was
I know.
this guy. You just took me back. Now that was classic. That's classic.
Yep.
That's the best Simpsons thing ever. Wasn't it? Was like Homer. It was Homer jumping the. It was Bart was supposed to. Then Homer tried to stop him. Ended up on the skateboard or something.
Yep.
I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it.
I wasn't on a skateboard.
Yeah, you're
You thought you were.
I thought I could fly, to be honest.
Ah,
Found out
Yeah.
found out you
didn't work.
couldn't?
She went head first down too.
Discovered gravity. The
Well,
gravity
and
of the situation.
I turned my body because I've had spine surgery at L5. I
No.
did not want to hit my back. And so when I turned, the right side got it the worst. And I went feet first down. And then when my heels hit the concrete at the bottom in the basement, it threw my body forward and I hit both my knees and then hit my right shoulder and the side of my face.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
That hurt.
Yep.
That hurts just hearing
Oh,
about
yes,
it.
it hurt. But my backside, oh my God.
Hmm.
Yeah, you
I
be
see
careful doing that
purple.
stuff. My mom was
Well-
walking down the steps backwards with a bag of laundry, and after she got back from Maui 3 or 4 years ago, and lost her step and broke her hip at the bottom of the stairs.
Shit.
Then she
Well,
had to
now
crawl
they've
her
been
ass up,
sending
just like
me-
you were on, just without adrenaline, crawled up the stairs because my dad couldn't hear or anything.
Yep.
Well, my neighbor heard me
Amazing what-
scream. He come running to the fence, but he didn't come inside because of Haas.
She's got a great big German Shepherd.
I kind of figured when he said Haas, that sounds like a big ass dog.
Yeah, he's big.
He's a
Doesn't
big
sound like,
guard. Yep.
Charlie or
He's
something.
my shadow.
Rose. Well, Rose could be a big dog too. You just never know with dogs.
Haas is about 140 pounds.
Yes.
Haas just sounds like a serious dog name.
Yeah, he is.
He's a big boy. And then I got a 5-pounder.
Oh, it's down to 39 degrees right now. It's cooling down.
Yeah.
But they're
it's-
supposed to be ordering an MRI because
Yeah.
the therapy didn't work and I've gotten worse. So now we're waiting on the VA to order the MRI because the lady at therapy thinks my meniscus is torn.
Oh, shoot.
Not cool.
It doesn't feel good. It hurts. I'm living on Blue Emu, extra strength Advil, hot pads.
Medication is a
smart.
wonderful thing.
Well, the only thing that Lynn and I say is that
Don't
with
get old.
everything we've been through, and Lynn especially, my hero, everything she's been through, this is just kind of like the icing on the pudding, you know?
Lynn's my hero now.
Yeah.
No, I'm just a regular person.
Hey,
No,
Lenny, what do I introduce you to other people?
Something that I don't like.
She's my hero.
Lynn, I had no idea until tonight. I mean, I've seen you in the chat 100 times, but never did I have any idea that you have been through what you've been through.
Lynn is probably the most interesting person you could ever meet because
Hell yeah.
done things that most people didn't think that anybody has ever done.
But I have been blessed. I have had so many opportunities and experiences that most people can only dream about.
Hell yeah.
But there's
Done a lot
always
of shit.
good. With every good, there's always bad. You
Yep.
got to take them both.
Yep. Yeah.
And I tell myself, God's not going to give me any more than I can handle. Because after the deal during Vietnam, I thought I was dead. I thought I was
Well,
dead.
that alone, Lynn, you know, the sheer fact that you came home from that, you know, a lot of guys didn't.
Yep.
Took a long time.
Yeah.
Took
And,
a long, long time.
you know,
And you still deal with it.
I deal with it every day of my life, and sometimes it's worse than others.
She's got an
Because-
asshole. She's got an asshole neighbor that always likes to shoot off flashbangs for everything. And she just about hits the ground when that happens.
I
I
had
have to go to the bunker.
I had 1, 2, 3 non-pilots with my first helicopter flight EMS job. I had 3 non-pilots I flew with, and John told me the story that one day he actually broke down crying when he told me the story the one day. But he told the story of he was in a Huey, he was in Laos, shot down, and because he had to come in and do a hard landing, when he hit the transmission, the guys, the doors were obviously open on both sides. When he hit the ground, the guys jumped out, and when he hit hard enough where the skids split, the transmission apparently dropped down on the Huey, and the blades ended up dropping low enough that it hit about 5 or 6 of the guys.
Mm.
Yeah. And he told that story, and it's like, holy shit. Yeah.
And one of the guys I flew with, he got shot out of the front seat of a Cobra.
Really?
Yep, he had to have all kinds of reconstructive surgery. And Bruce had a really hard time with it.
Yeah.
How's it 10 o'clock? I gotta get some sleep.
You
I'm
got to
gonna
go
be
to
a party
work
pooper.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta do that
Usually.
stupid W thing tomorrow. I used to kid about that in Roger's chat in the morning when I sneak in.
Yeah.
You gotta go do the W thing.
Yeah.
Nah.
Paul,
Yeah, but you've got a lot of living in front of you, kiddo. Enjoy
Yeah.
every bit of it.
We're gonna
'Cause the
YouTube
older
all
you
of it
get,
too.
the faster it goes.
Gonna YouTube what?
The older you get, the faster it's going to go.
Time
Yeah,
goes
I've
fast.
seen.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen this
So
happen.
enjoy every moment.
yeah.
Don't take anything for granted.
Yeah. Lynn, I can't even begin
2
to
words.
state and describe the utmost respect I have for you after meeting you and talking to you, and thank you for your service. Thank you for what you did. And yeah.
You are so welcome.
Yep. Yeah.
And like I said, watch my dad's video and you'll be able to
I will. I'm going to go
You
watch
will
that.
understand me a whole lot better.
Yeah. Paul, it's been a good live stream. Thank you.
Hey, yeah, it was interesting. I'm going to show you guys one more picture so you know who Hosser is.
My baby.
There's Hoss.
Oh, I had a feeling. What's with the cast?
Yeah.
He he was involved in a meth lab explosion and he jumped out of a 2-story window and hyperextended his front right leg.
Oh,
So they've
He's
been
just
doing
like Mom.
surgery on him.
jeez,
Yep.
even your
Yeah,
dog's
he's
like
got
you.
a plate and a pin, but now he's getting ready to go back to surgery and they're going to take it out.
Wow.
Even your dog is like you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Works out that way.
Guess so.
Shoot.
It's okay. I love him anyway. I wouldn't trade him.
Yeah, I bet.
That's her boy.
That's
Yep.
my boy.
Well,
My
Chuck,
big
it's good
man.
seeing you. Paul, thank you.
Hey, you
Hey,
bet,
yeah,
Ron.
see you guys.
Hey,
Thanks, Paul.
Chuck, thanks for sitting through the memory lane, but you know, sometimes we got to share more than, yeah.
I drifted in and out because Lynn had told a lot of the stories last time when it was just you, me, and her just chit chatting behind the
Yeah.
scenes. But like, but yeah, Lynn, you're amazing. Honestly,
Thank you, Chuck.
Yeah.
oh, thank you. It's
But
like
I
I
just
can't
was
believe you went to like, okay, the problem at like 9/11, you know, freaking Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Jeffrey
Well, it was my
Dahmer. I'm like,
job.
oh
It was
my
my
God.
job.
yeah, it's crazy.
I just happened
You
to
were
be
everywhere.
at the right place. And not only that, the agency used me to get into places where the other agents couldn't. They wanted a woman. They wanted a cute little
A
blonde.
little hottie because they could send in.
And
you know?
so I could get in places that the other
Get
guys
through the
couldn't.
barriers.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
because
I could get
because the blood has to leave the brain.
Yep.
right. And I was able to get information without even showing my badge. You just start talking and flirting with people, they'll tell you anything you want to know.
It's so
And
funny.
that's how a lot of the investigations went. And I'd go in undercover as a regular person. Nobody would expect me to be a federal investigator,
Yep.
you know?
That's hilarious.
Wow.
It really is.
But I'll tell you what, though, you do come away feeling used. Very
Yeah.
much
Well, it'd
so.
be nice if they could change your credentials and your,
Yeah.
in your
Well,
books.
yeah, that's
Never
my
happened.
only gripe is somebody ought to make it right about Vietnam.
They should.
Nope.
like,
Says
Yeah,
other
that's
on
not
my
right.
214. And I'm not the only woman, guys. Don't think that I am. I'm not. There's many of us.
yeah. That's
And
wrong.
we-
man.
It's something that we bitch about in our group. It's Women's Veterans. It's a private group. We bitch about it all the time
I
Can't
bet.
imagine you guys
because
going,
we all
going off on
understand
it.
because we've all been through it.
Yeah, that'd be like Ron. All of a sudden, they denied that you ever were a helicopter paramedic. No,
Yeah.
that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
it's just like, having to sign a non-disclosure about my time in the White House and at the Pentagon. That's bullshit.
Wow.
They want to hide everything.
That's bullshit. Yeah.
They don't want the public getting excited. They don't want them panicking.
Screw
Or a
that.
bunch of idiots in charge.
Well, it's just like the shit that was going on with the terrorism over in Italy when I was over there. None of it showed up in the papers over here. They hid it all. All the terrorism that was going on.
That's why the government hates the internet, because it can't hide
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like all of the neighbors and everybody that knew Lynn told her to stay home because the communists were having a rally.
A demonstration in the main
Yep.
piazza. My Italian neighbors told me this. Not our government. Thank God for our good neighbors.
Wow.
And it's just like when things got like that, my car didn't move and I had a big cover for it and my car stayed covered up. And every time I went out to get in my car, I had those mirrors on a stick.
You
I
had
had to
put a
look
mirror
for
in
wires
your
and
car for bombs.
strings. Because my car, because of the wheelbase, would not go down the steep driveway under the house into the garage. So it was outside the fence where anybody could get to it. So every time I had to go out, I made Jennifer stay in the house when I went out to check my car every morning. You didn't know if you're going to turn that key and still be there in the next second.
Wow. Shit. That's crazy.
Well,
Yep.
Chuck's about ready to go to sleep.
Paul, thank you for having us on. Thank you.
Hey,
for,
Ron, you're always welcome, my friend.
I love to see your pictures, Ron.
Yep.
Thank you.
Lynn talks about your wildlife pictures. She loves them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I got a couple doozies.
Yep.
And,
And everybody in the chat, thanks for being here. Good night to you and everyone, and we'll do it again soon. And take care.
Good night, everybody.
And we'll